This is the Infinity Summit Group. Truth, passion, success.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Infinity Summit Group podcast. Today is February 6th, 2023. Welcome back, everybody, after another long pause. December and January have been real weird, but we should be right back on track after these ones. Thank you for your patience, all those who listen. I'm Noah.
Xavier.
Logan.
Jesse.
We got a special guest on today, Eli.
Yeah.
Say hey.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Girl. Nice
Yeah.
to be back. Nice to be back.
He's here for his 1 year and a half checkup.
Wanted to change.
two or 3 months. It's May 2021 is when we did your last one.
Wow.
Damn.
There you go.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was so long ago.
That was a long
Yeah, it's
time.
been a while.
Yeah, I was in a totally different space back then, too.
Which is great. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. I'm trying
Well-
to think if I was working at the chiropractors by then. Or
You
not.
were.
I was?
You were the chiropractor, definitely.
Because I was working at a physical therapist place
Oh,
there
shit.
before.
Maybe you're doing that.
Yeah,
I
because
thought-
I was in the biz, but I didn't find this place yet.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
So is it different than what you were doing? Because before it was like the muscles, right? The individual muscles that you were kind of
That is what I'm doing.
right now.
Yeah, that is what I'm doing right now, and that's what I love, and definitely like sees CP. And I'm glad I did the time where I bounced from a few physical therapists.
Mm-hmm.
I got my personal trainer certificate. That gave me a bunch of good info because, like, man, that's such a deep dive hole when you go into like anatomy and like body stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the funny thing is, nobody ever tells you this because I don't think anybody's like willing to admit it almost. But like, they're all guessing.
Yeah.
Like they're like, this works absolutely 100%, and then you're like find out that all the testes were like doing something else that helped, and like that's what actually helped them. And so a lot of it's guesswork. There's a lot of like science and facts and a lot of very like analytical things,
Mm-hmm.
but a huge majority of people are kind of like well, this is what my experience with the physical therapist is. Somebody come in like, hey, I have this pain, and they'd be like, yeah, and then like they'd run. They wouldn't do this out loud. I'd know what they're like. And they'll run through all the different possibilities, and they're like, let's try this one. And it's just problem solving. Like,
Yeah.
your knee hurts. Well, is it this? You treat them, and like, okay, come back next week. They come back next week, and it's like, did it work? We don't know.
Dang.
Just troubleshooting constantly.
Pretty much, but like, and the funny thing about healthcare is everybody wants the magic wand, right? Bippity boppity, boom, you're fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to get. Like,
Body's complex.
body is complex, and not just that, but every person is complex, and every body is different. Like, if everybody's different, but every body is different, and everybody is different. And so, like, even you two brothers who have very similar bodies, there will be certain things that are different about you. Like, here's a cool one, and I can't really show, but like if you kind of make a beak with your hand and bend it over the wrist, you'll see 1 or 2 tendons on your arm. Not everybody has 2.
That's neat.
It's I wish I knew the statistic.
one.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
Strong too.
yeah, probably only got 1. You've got 2, Jess. So like
Probably depends on the arm, too.
a little
I don't
bit,
know.
but like
I've got one in each.
yeah, you'll have like 2.
Huh.
And one of them's called the palmaris longus. It's a muscle not everybody has.
What does it do?
It's just another finger flexor. So it's like you can function fine without it. There's a few muscles that some people have and some don't. There's one in your hip that most people don't have, but a large proportion of like Asian people have it.
Huh.
And then there's another like muscle in the calf that's this tiny little muscle that like it's like it's fading its way out of the body. Like kind of like wisdom teeth. Like
Right.
before they were really a necessity. Now they're like on the phase out where we don't need wisdom teeth anymore because the jaw is smaller than it used to be because we're not taking big bites of melons,
I was always wondering about that. Like, do we naturally have wisdom teeth and then have to take them out?
I mean, yeah, biology and evolution tells us that it's because we at one point had bigger jaws, right? We were bigger, just ate bigger food. But over the years, as we've learned to make our food smaller, more palatable, I mean, that's the whole basis behind prepping and cooking, is that we couldn't just eat it all raw. Even stuff you'd think like pumpkins or stuff like apples, yeah, we can eat raw, but that's some of the very rare fruit that we can't. Like, if you ever see like a monkey eat an orange or something like that, they just eat it like an apple. Like they don't care about the rinds at all, and that's how the jungle worked. And so you needed these big, strong jaws to crush all the fiber because everything is just super fibrous. And so, like, as humans evolved, they started cooking the food more, prepping it more. Even, like, to some extent, we might have lost our ability to eat raw meat, but we can still do that. We're omnivores, right? We can eat pretty much anything. But, yeah, that's essentially my understanding. I mean, I'm sure I'll learn a lot more as it goes on, but that's my understanding of wisdom teeth, is they're from, like, a bigger jaw that we had.
Do you think male nipples will fade out?
No.
Why do we need them?
We don't need them. It's all protoforms, I guess would be a good saying. But basically, when you're in the womb, you are a woman. Everybody starts out as a woman, which totally makes sense. I mean, life can go on, but, you know, women are the gatekeeper, men is the keymaster. But women are like, you know, one birth every 9 months, where a guy can knock up 90 women in 90 months. Probably more if he's really suave or something like that. But like it's kind of that way. So women are always in necessity. They're always the more prior one, but then women can't, at least in the natural world, women can't survive on their own because at least with humans, they're smaller. A lot of other species, they're actually bigger. The female species is always bigger.
And they bite heads off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Black widows, I think, do that too.
They bite the heads off their mates.
Oh, they'll just
They
kill
just-
Or just kill them.
Yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
not necessarily bite their head off, but
And most of the peacocks you've seen, the pretty ones, are all dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dang it.
so nipples, like, so we all are born with like basically all the hardware, and then it's a dump of testosterone that turns us from women, not girls, but to men. Like, and
Yeah.
it's so hard because at that point you're not really either one.
Yeah.
But we like the blueprint starts out as a woman, then goes towards a man.
interesting.
Depending
Okay.
on
I've
whether
always
you're
wondered
XX
why
or
they
XY.
do that.
And that tells your body, or I guess would tell the mom's
Yeah, it's that Y
body.
chromosome. That's right.
Yeah, tells the mom's body whether to dump in testosterone or estrogen.
I've heard something lately that's crazy that I never knew, that if you have a baby with like some type of blood type, that it can like reject the mom, or the mom has a certain blood type that like one of them will die because they get
Holy
sick
crap.
just by having them in their womb because their blood types are so like different. I'm not sure all the science, but
But I've heard of that, and also when they're actually in the mother's womb, they have their own circulatory system inside there.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the womb, it's their own circulatory system, so they can be two different blood types and be fine.
I need to look this
Now,
up then.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were certain ones where the mom's body is like, nah, we can't. This is too different from our blood type, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't really seen it around.
But
or
they
anything,
have
just
their-
kind of heard it.
yeah, they have their own circulatory system. Everything is just an encased. It's dope. It's cool.
Birth is gnarly. Like when you think about it, it's
Insane.
such a crazy phenomenon.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
They're wizards.
Yeah, they pretty much are.
Yeah.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So you say you finally found a place where you plan on staying at this one longer, or
Yeah, at
What are you
least until I
thinking?
get to chiropractor school, but then I'll leave. But I
Okay.
plan on coming back to the company. I mean, the skills I'm learning there, I can take and do my own thing if I have to.
yeah.
But I don't want to. A big part of it is the legacy. It's Dr. Buhler is the boss. He's so cool. If you ever get a chance, look him up. He's in a bunch of documentaries. Really an amazing career as a healer.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who worked for the Jazz for years. And
Oh, okay.
the Broncos and BYU. He's worked for a bunch of teams. Like, I see John Stockton come in like every month or two. Like,
Wow.
so I've met John a few times. John's a cool guy.
Who's that?
John Stockton?
Yes.
Oh, aged yourself.
He's a famous basketball player.
He was a huge deal in basketball, especially because he's a short white guy, relatively short. But yeah, he just drained him. Like Karl Malone, you know, and Stockton
heard.
Honda.
Uh-huh.
Stockton Honda, Malone Honda. They're both basketball players who played for the Jazz for years and did really, really well. And yeah, they just kind of stayed in Utah. And I don't think
have
either of them
statues.
lives in Utah. But yeah, they're kind of big deals in like old school basketball, like back when Michael Jordan was playing.
Yeah.
Like they're a big deal.
One of them still holds like the record for the most assists ever. That's a ton.
Yeah, it might be.
They have his jersey hanging up in the arena. It's cool.
That is pretty cool. Do you know which one it is?
John Stockton, I think.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I wish. That's the funny thing being in like going into sports medicine. It sounds like, oh wow, I really don't know sports.
I don't know anything about this.
No, like seriously, for the first like year or so, rugby's a big deal. I was like, how the hell do you play rugby? Watch videos, like cool. So everybody just beats each other up, and there's a ball on the field.
Yeah, it's like football with no pads, from
Yeah.
what I've seen.
Which actually is
Looks
interesting
aggressive.
because they have less injuries than football.
Yeah.
Well, like less serious injuries.
I've heard that.
Football has some serious injuries where people dislocated knees, broken spines, fractured necks. These don't happen in rugby. Rugby is a lot more superficial. Like one of my coworkers talks about the time he saw some dude's ear hanging off.
Nice.
And so,
Yikes.
Hey, will you lend me an ear? Fucking hell.
hey, can I have your ear for a sec?
I think it's in football. It's because they hit with their head.
They
Right.
do.
They
It's-
spearhead.
It's also because if you have that much protection, are you going to feel better about running headlong into someone? Oh, yeah. If you have no protection, you're like, man, I don't want them to stick their knee in my face as I hit them. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You can go kind of full bore. So trust me, rugby's no gentle sport though. Rugby's tough.
No, I can't imagine it would be.
So what do you actually, like, you go and pop people's backs and stuff, or?
The important question is, do you wrap up things around their head and pull their spine?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. You guys
cool
like
to
that?
watch. I
That's-
don't think it'd be very healthy, but it just seems like rapid decompression of the spine, and it seems like it might hurt a little bit.
It looks fucking aggressive.
Seems like if you pull too hard, it might be bad.
Dr. Buhler once described it as barbaric, which I was like, cool. That's one of the few adjustments I know.
Does it work though?
Yes and no. Just like any tool, right? Like you can pop your fingers and you'll be fine, but if somebody like over pops your finger, they're gonna break it. It's like any adjustment. If you do too much or don't know what you're doing, yeah, you could hurt somebody. So for instance, that's one of the adjustments I learned from Tuena, or a martial art adjustment that I learned, was that you adjust the neck and then you pull it out, and like I've had people where like I pull on the neck and I don't do the big strap thing. I don't love that. It takes like the feel out of it.
Yeah.
But I've had people in their low back pop because you just pull all the way up the spine, and it really depends on how relaxed the person can be. Because that's what apparently, like I actually learned this kind of today. When you're adjusting or getting a pop, there's two things you're fighting. One is the actual like the gas or like the friction, because it suctions it, and then you're popping it. That's the suction. But the other thing you're fighting is the muscle tension, because like a nerve pinches, all the muscles around it cramp up, which makes it harder to move that bone because it's all pinched up together, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why it's like, relax, crack. They had bring it all the way back to this clinic. So I was working at a physical therapist, right? And first I did an internship at a physical therapist. I learned a lot, didn't get paid anything. But I learned a lot there. Then I went and worked at a physical therapist, just worked there. And it was cool, but I just kept on seeing people come back with the same problem. I was like, I feel like there's an easy way to fix this. Like, 'cause some people would get better, fine. Some people just had a lot of rehab to do, fine. I mean, that's just time, patience, and the body healing. But then when I came to this chiropractic clinic, yeah, like, they were able to turn muscles on instantly. Like, poke a few buttons on the body, and boom, your muscle works. Well, it's more complex than that, but that's a simple way to explain it. Is it's a mix of a lot of different things, right? It's got.
You need a quick fix for ED?
It's funny you mentioned we actually have a device that they're using for ED. We don't use it at our clinic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's called a soft wave. It's what it is like a machine. It's a machine
Not
that
a
has
hard wave?
Nope, it's a soft wave.
All right.
I don't know if you want to be
False
hard.
advertising.
Yeah, you get the soft and the hard, right?
Yes.
But it's this little device that has like this little, almost think of it like a water balloon at the end of a flashlight. I don't know how to explain
Okay.
it better than that, but like the cap is like curved and it's full of water, and it has like a taser inside that'll shock.
Fuck's
Hell,
sake.
That
Yeah,
sounds
so the
aggressive.
taser never actually touches you, but you put the water balloon part on you, and then the electric goes through the current and basically like starts like shocking the body. And what it does is it creates blood capillaries, so blood flow, and it creates like sends human growth hormone or like stem cells to the area. So it promotes healing, and that's the device they're using on ED.
So it'll actually be a long-term fix instead of just like a...
In theory, if your problem is low blood flow, there's a lot of problems to ED, and I would hazard a guess, like obviously don't fact check me, but like I would say like 75% of most ED are going to be like mental issues, or some
could see
sort
that.
of brain thing is causing the issue more than anything else. There's a lot of health problems that come into it. Obviously, if you're 80 and you can't keep it up, like that makes a lot of sense. But just because your blood flow is going to be a little bit less strong, weaker.
Yeah.
But if your problem with ED is like you just don't have enough blood flow in the necessary area, this thing will help create that. And so that's like a lot of the advertisements you see that are like, oh, come do this ED, a new great breakthrough device for ED. It's a soft wave, and seeing people when they get it, it looks like it hurts. So if you guys want to put that on your little willy, go ahead. I'm like, I'll try other things first. I'll try the mental idea first.
You would think that would have the opposite effect for me.
Maybe you're into it. You're like, oh, I'm into the rough stuff. I don't know.
I like this kind of. Is it
working?
kind of new? Is it like a new device that they're still kind of testing out and seeing if it works?
They've had really good luck with ED. Like,
okay, so
we've had really good luck with a lot of things, like in the clinic. That's why we have it in our clinic. We don't use it for ED. We use it for a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. But it has some pretty cool like results from it, because it's from my knowledge anyways, it's like shocks an area into where the body's like, oh no, the spot's broken. Let's send a bunch of like construction workers down there.
Oh, okay.
And so if you have a problem that like doesn't go away, but it's not a big enough deal for the body to like divert the resources to it, this will kind of divert it for you. So that's kind of the nutshell of from what I understand it is.
Weird.
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy.
Have you ever had a case where you're just like, what the fuck? But like, explain a crazy case that you've had.
So you guys know what HIPAA is?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, HIPAA is basically it's
You can't talk about shit.
you can't give some details. So I can tell you like
Oh,
this person came in, but I can't give you super tight details. So
Which is fine.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool.
check me. But let's see what's a good. Here's one cool case that I can share. That it's actually one of the a doctor who started working with Dr. Buhler. So this doctor, he's now a doctor, like a huge doctor up in Michigan. Yeah, somewhere up in Michigan. Big doctor, really, really well, really smart guy. But he was a track star in college. Like, did really great, was on track to beat records. But he kept on having plantar fasciitis pain. And so
Which is what?
plantar fasciitis?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So plantar fasciitis is basically the bottom of your feet hurt.
Okay.
So you guys know what fascia is?
No.
Okay, cool. So fascia is like, think of it like a spider web going around the whole body, connecting everything all together.
Okay.
It's like a tension net, and it's around all your muscles and everything. So like usually when you get a massage, that's what's happening is fascia. If you've ever heard the term scar tissue,
Right.
very similar to fascia. It's kind of the same building blocks, just fascia is more organized.
Or
Scar,
like stretch marks or something.
I think that's a bit different.
Oh, okay.
Stretch marks, I think, is more to do with the skin. I don't know.
Okay.
though.
Okay.
But fascia is basically this like web that connects all of our body, and that's why it can actually like stretching your calves and your hamstrings can help your neck pain, because there's fascia that goes from the top of your forehead around your head all the way down your back to the bottom of your toes.
Wow.
Like it's one big fascial chain, and it pulls on it. So, and that's what a lot of yoga does is you pull on these certain fascia things, and it's like muscles work more in conjunction than individual. Like even a bicep curl, we think, oh, I'm using my bicep, but I'm like, you're using a lot there that all works together to help you lift weights. That's why like doing a with like a palm up curl is a lot easier than a palm down curl, because you're actually using different muscles in your arm. So like these are called hammer curls. No, these are hammer curls. I forget these are called, but they're face down curls. It's a smaller muscle that's more in your forearm and a smaller muscle in your bicep that does it, versus like when your palm is more up, you're using both of your biceps as well as some smaller muscles in your arms. So like, and the fascia is what allows a lot of these to start to work together.
Okay.
So plantar fasciitis is essentially, from my understanding, whenever you hear the term itis, by the way, it just means inflamed. So plantar fasciitis, so plantar, which is the bottom of the foot, that's plantar. Fascia, which is the whole thing in the body, itis is inflamed.
Got
So
some
the bottom
swollen
of-
feet.
Yeah, your bottom of your foot is swollen. A lot of it's just Latin for simple terms like that. But it's this really bad pain, and people get it. A lot of, especially runners, they get it, and it just hurts, and it's hard to get relief from it. And it's like walking hurts, running hurts. And this doctor was who wasn't a doctor yet, but he was a really good track star, but he kept on having this bad pain. And so the other surgeons were like, well, I know what we do. We just need to release your plantar fascia, because there's a bunch of layers on the bottom of your foot. That's why you can walk on bare feet and it doesn't like kill. Depending on who you are, some people it really does kill because it's all inflamed. So they'll actually cut it and like open it up so it releases and creates more slack. So what happened to this surgeon is they basically took all of it out. So he's essentially walking with no like shock on the bottom of his foot.
Oh my god.
And it took this aspiring track star and doctor wheelchair bound. Totally wheelchair bound, couldn't walk. He's in a wheelchair. His legs worked just fine. He just literally couldn't stand on his feet. They hurt too bad. And I don't know how far he got in medical school. I haven't talked to him about it, but like eventually he hooked up with Dr. Buhler and talked to him, and he did the muscle work. And there's muscles that go down and hold up the arch of your foot. They kind of sling. It's like a stirrup. He activated those muscles, and the guy got up and started walking again.
Whoa.
Because he doesn't have this plantar fascia, he has to get this done pretty often, especially more often than most of us people, because we all have our plantar fascia. But he actually has to get it done regularly because, like, over the time, the muscles start wearing out because he's constantly traumatically smacking them, even with soft shoes and all that stuff. And it'll eventually get him down to a wheelchair again. And then we just activate the muscles. He's up and walking again.
That's insane.
Dude, it's so cool.
That's crazy.
Back pain, knee pain, like.
So, did you watch this guy get out of the wheelchair?
No, this was way before I was there.
Oh, okay.
But that's like one of the things that, like, that's the kind of stuff that you can do is like when medical sciences are like, we're at a loss. I don't know. Here's some pain meds.
Let's just cut it out.
Yeah, or just cut it out. We can do a lot of that. So, what else? Trying to think of cool.
Is Dr. Buhler, is he related to like Lynette and them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just
If he
wondering.
is, it's very,
It's the
very
same last
distant.
name, so I was just wondering.
His family's from Utah, but like I've met some of them. They don't even look like any of the Buhlers we know. Like I think if it's there, it's way up the chain, you know.
Right on.
Do you think it would have been better if he came to you or to the place you worked before he went to get surgery on his feet?
Oh, absolutely. We keep people out of surgery like every day.
Good.
Like it's pretty cool the work we do, and it totally changes the idea of the body, really, because like the body we think like we think of it like a building. A lot of us do, anyways. Is that you've got your wire frame, your metal foundation, which is your skeleton, and then you put all the wiring and the plumbing in, and then you put all the casings on it, right? And then our muscles use us for strength. But it's actually kind of the opposite way around, where it's like our muscles are holding this tension, and that holds our bones in place. So our muscles hold our bones in place. Our bones don't hold our muscles in place. And so that's what happens when a muscle gets inhibited is one side starts pulling harder than the other, and your bone will constantly start moving in like a slightly different direction or shape, and that starts causing a lot of havoc because then you're pinching nerves. Your biomechanics, basically how your body works, isn't going up properly anymore. So say your glutes don't work, right? Your gluteus maximus, which a lot of people's don't, actually. It's pretty amazing how many people are out there that don't.
They don't work?
No.
What does that look like when your butt doesn't work?
Pain in the back. That's
Oh, fuck.
pain in the back and really tight hamstrings.
Like they
My
can't
butt's
squat
broken.
or what?
What?
Like they can't squat?
They can squat. So, like, physically the muscle works. But think of it this way. So if you have a shock on a car and it goes from, like, all the way extended to all the way compressed.
Yeah.
And that's like 0 to 100, right? Your muscles kind of do the same thing, but when they get inhibited, so they basically get like traumatized. Yeah, think of it like instead of going 0 to 100, it goes 20 to 80, and you never get that fully relaxed or fully tossed. So like if it ever goes past that, it'll just clamp up.
Ooh.
Because it doesn't know what to do, and that's where people get muscle cramps. Actually, it's because these muscles are like, we're trying to relax, but we literally cannot relax past this, or else the body will just freak out.
How do you fix that?
So what we do is it's called advanced muscle integration technique. So that AIMIT is the technique that I do. And what it does is like, so we work with a bunch of different things. The guy who designed it, like, it's been the generations in work. Like, it started years and years ago, like after World War II. And then that guy's work, I think that's Goodhart. Dr. Goodhart. He started classical kinesiology, which was the really first merger between East and West medicine, where he's doing chiropractic work, but he's also doing acupuncture. And apparently these veterans would come back and like, Doc, I don't know what you did last week, but man, you fixed my shoulder. It feels great. And he's like, that's weird. I was working on his knee. Like, because the body isn't logical. It's a lot more interwoven than that. So then he did some stuff, and then I guess Dr. Buhler's mentor, Dr. Beardall, he really took it to the nines and just started working and like started actually figuring out that there's more muscles than we think there are. And like by that I mean like, do you guys know what your quads are?
Yes. That's on top of your thigh, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be flabbergasted if any of you could name all 4 of the quads.
Oh, no.
No way.
No.
It's just quads.
Cool, I get a flex here. So you have 4 of them. You have vastus intermedius, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and rectus femoris. So just Latin names for basically leg muscles. Yeah, they're your thigh, the top of your thigh. And what Dr. Beardall and Dr. Buhler did is they actually went to the dissection lab and like looked at it more. And turns out there's not 4 muscles here. There's like 4 big compartments, and each of them, in those compartments they have smaller muscles inside of them. So instead of one muscle being a rectus femoris, that's actually 2 separate muscles. Vastus intermedius, which is really deep, just right down the leg quad, that one is 2 divisions, an inside and outside one, and then a little small part of it that moves your kneecap. And then so that there's went from having 4 muscles in your quad to having 13. So at work we call them the tridecaceps. But if you say that, nobody knows what the hell you're talking about, so we say quads. But so yeah, he found out that there are all these muscle divisions, so parts of a muscle. And what we can do is if we find a division, we basically do a bunch of different acupressure. So we're not using needles, we're using our fingers. And we work on certain spots. And once they sync up energetically, then we know to move on to the next step. So we work the muscle, we work some parts for blood flow in, blood flow out kind of thing. Then there's 3 like reflex muscles that are like nowhere near it. So like that one I was talking about, the little muscle that moves your kneecap, the points for it are on the side of the foot and then 2 on the front of your pelvis for your knee. It's crazy. It's like, it doesn't make any sense when you try to look at it logically, but the way the body's built and designed, it's just like, it all kind of is interwoven together. And these guys figured this out. And so they can turn these muscles on instantly. So we muscle test it, goes weak, then we do the work, and it's solid. And people get up like, whoa, pain is gone.
So how can you tell when 2 muscles are connected energetically? Like at that point to where you can move on to the next?
Oh, I feel it. So it's one of the skills you kind of got to learn for this work. But like when I'm holding 2 points, it's an energy pulse. You guys probably could feel it if you want to do it too. But like if you put your hand on somebody else, which is the easiest way to learn, you might eventually start feeling like a pulse. It almost feels like a heartbeat. But especially if you pick somewhere like the top of the wrist that you're not really as right close to them, you'll start to feel like an energy pulse. And the more you work it, the more your fine skills about finding it goes up. But yeah, it's something we feel.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That's some straight guru shit.
Dude,
I like it.
it's voodoo stuff. It's so cool. Like muscle testing is amazing. I've seen some pretty wild stuff that way. Like there's this one kid who was a surfer, and he got in a pretty bad wreck, and he kept on having his back be hurt.
His butt was broken.
Yeah, his butt was broken. We fixed that, but his back still hurt after that. So we turned out like, oh, it's this muscle, and it didn't turn on. Like we turned it on, but then it didn't stay on. It went off again and inhibited again. So like we got to go, and it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Then it like cramped up. Like, oh no, I'm afraid to work. And so, but since we already did the muscle, all the points, we knew it wasn't the muscle. So the doctor went a layer deeper, and there's a specific nutrient that was attached to this muscle. Like each muscle has a specific nutrient to it too.
Fuck.
And yeah, this is where it gets really voodoo too. So the doctor was like, show me a position that bothers you. It's like, okay. So he's like, usually it bothers me when I'm on my surfboard and I jump up, which is really hard if you've ever surfed. Like that's the hardest part, is to get up and then stay on the wave. At least when you're learning. And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's just right there. It hurts. Like, okay, here's the supplement for this. Put it in your pocket and then do it again. No pain.
What?
Yeah, like just in his pocket. He didn't have to take it or anything. He just put the supplement in his pocket. He did it. He's like, yeah, it didn't hurt that time. Okay, give me the bottle back. Okay, do it again. Yeah, it's still there. Put it back in your pocket. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's like that type of stuff that I get to see almost daily. It is crazy. Like it totally shatters my understanding of like the way our bodies work.
Yeah.
Is it like that one? Do you know that one Indian guy? He's got like this little pad on his like knee, and he like rubs it.
His
Elmore?
name's Elmore.
Yeah, Elmore.
No, I've never heard of him.
He
Who is
does
he?
that.
He's wild. He's like, will like rub this little thing, and then he's like,
So it's
this is wrong with
it's
you.
a resin plate he keeps on his leg, and he'll do different hand signs and shit over your body as he's rubbing it and listening to it. It's similar to a muscle testing.
Oh, no, I know
something.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
'Cause Dr. Buhler used to use one.
Yeah, and then he'll get the supplements and be like, yep, that'll fix that. That'll fix that. He does all sorts of crazy
Yeah,
shit.
we do the hand signs, we do the supplements, and that resin plate, I forget what it's called. It's, I used to have the name. I don't know. I forgot the name. But they actually made it illegal for chiropractors to use that.
Why?
isn't that the question of the day?
Because
Good
it's
thing He's
good.
not a chiropractor, right?
No, seriously, it's probably because it works. Like this stuff is like it's voodoo, and a lot of people can't make sense of it, so they're like, don't do it. They think it's pseudoscience, so it's not real, right? It's like placebo almost.
Well, if it works, why do you give a shit if it's
Because medical
If it's
science,
placebo or not, who the fuck cares?
because it's medical science, not medicine.
But
Yes.
what even is that like?
How
How does it work? And also, how does having just like a pill or protein or whatever in his pocket, how does that, like how?
does everything have vibration, or does everything operate at the same vibration?
They all have different.
Right? It's that, like, as far as I can tell, I can't tell you the science or what exactly it is, but from what I can understand is that it's an energy frequency, right? So I don't know if you guys have ever played around with muscle testing. It's some pretty cool stuff.
A little bit.
No? Yeah, so like just having something in your energy field will actually make you go stronger or weaker because it literally strengthens the body or weakens the body.
Does that apply to everything kind of around you? Say like, water or even this laptop. Like,
Or is it within your like aura field kind of thing?
It has to be within your energy field. I'm not sure what the exact like range is on that. My guess is it would go from person to person. This is where I start getting into like what I know about the spirit body and the energetic side of things. But yeah, it just has to be in your field. Like you just have to hold it. Personal like biases come into play quite a bit with it. Like if you're sitting there like, should I have another beer or not? And you really want to have that beer.
Yeah.
Your body's going to give you that false positive.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's a skill to learn to like check in with your body and really see which way it wants to go, or have someone else muscle test you. That's the most surefire because like when you're muscle testing somebody, and I could play around with these like little wine in the cans because that'll do it. Like I'll show you how it works, but it's like you just feel it. Like it just feels weak and like. So we use muscle testing all the time. That's how we find a lot of the points. That's how we see if a muscle can actually work on somebody. And then I've started using it in my day-to-day life. Like, I don't want this or this for dinner. Like, I'll think about it and like imagine tasting it. And if my body gives me like a yes, I'm like, cool, that's what I'm having. But like with 2 foods, it'll give you 2 yeses because it's like, I don't care, dude, eat something.
Yeah, food's good.
is that what muscle testing is?
Weird.
Kind of like feeling, it's I don't know, energy. If you want to like do it or not.
No, there's actually a lot of science behind muscle testing.
Well, what is it? Because I guess I don't understand clearly what it is.
So you're saying essentially like you're testing muscle, say you're testing grip strength or something, and you've got something that's good for you, say apple, whatever, and you put it in your energy field that'll make your grip potentially stronger versus have a beer in your energy field and it may make it weaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shit like
That's
that.
kind of cool.
No,
Right?
that's exactly it. Like, and it's
different muscles.
yeah, and it's not super obvious either. That's why the muscle test is usually like you're straight armed, like holding it out, or like I see a lot of people do this muscle test where they'll make like the OK finger with their finger and like open it up, and you can be like, oh, my name's Eli, my name's Jonathan, and it's weaker, and it's hard to test yourself, but having someone else test you is kind of a trip. It's one of my favorite party tricks, honestly. I'm like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, working at chiropractors, whatever. Like, oh, we do muscle testing. What's that? Like, come here, hold your arm out. And I'll test it. Okay, now put the beer to your chest. And they just test weak. I'm like, now give it to me. They test strong again.
Oh, didn't you do that down? Where were we? Wherever we go with the boats, the house
Pal?
boats. Yeah, the pal. I think you did that, where they like put your arm out, or my arm out, and you were like, "All right, do something," and then it was like, I couldn't hold my arm up.
Yeah,
Like, it was
that would have
fine
been
before,
muscle
and then it
testing.
was just like,
Just
it
gone.
was wild.
It's crazy. And it's like, it seems to be even like a scale. Like, the worse something is for you, the weaker you'll go. But this is where the body gets complex because, like, even though something might be physically bad for you, it might be, like, mentally good for you. Like, your brain is set on having it. So, like a beer, if you're at a party, you're like, yeah, well, this isn't healthy for me, but I already understand that and I still want it. So, like, you get conflicting things. So, you might not muscle test as extremely weak as, like, say, I put arsenic in your hand. You're going to muscle test really weak for that because you're like, yeah, my body doesn't want this at all. I don't want this at all. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, the body is just so much more complex and like, what's the word they use? Just the innate intelligence of the body, like just your instincts, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's really, really quite intelligent and like, and you can do a lot with it if you really start to dive into those waters.
Yeah. Well, if you believe knowledge is passed down through your genetics, right? Your genetic code has knowledge in it.
Yeah. I mean, it has information.
How else would evolution happen? It's like,
True. Yeah. No.
how would we change over time?
Genetic markers go. I mean, like evolution says that it's what is it? What are the word like mutations? Are
Right,
what
right.
Continued. Because I've wondered about that, like generational information. Because there's generational trauma.
Right.
Like you can have a family deal with the same issue generation over generation, whether that's like the mother is saying this and acting this way, so the daughter picks it up, or maybe the mother doesn't even mention it, but the daughter still picks it up, or it looks completely different. But these generational traumas can continue. So I'm like, if generational trauma can continue, I don't see why generational information couldn't, or knowledge, like you're saying. But it'd be hard to prove.
Yeah.
Who needs proof?
Yeah, who needs proof?
I got my muscle testing. I'm good.
Look, if it works, it works.
That's where I'm
That's
at.
all I need to say.
That's what I like. So.
Like, sweet.
So, kind of weird question, but the popping in a knee, like, is that have to do with muscles, or what is that? Because, like, I'll walk up the stairs sometimes, it'll
It was like
pop every time.
Every
Constantly
time.
click.
Yeah.
So there's a few different reasons for a joint to pop. And so that's like, if you ever talk to a chiropractor, they'll never say, oh, I'm going to pop your neck, I'm going to pop your back. They adjust it because it's different. They really get into the minutiae of the words and what the difference is between a fixation and a subluxation. And it's like, yeah, both those, basically that means is it stuck or is it stuck and pinching something? Those are the two words.
Oh, okay.
That's all they mean. That's basically the breakdown of them. But like, so there's a few different ways for popping. The number one, which most people I think experience first, is like if your joint is dry, like it hasn't been used a lot, and you start using it, start crackling. That's the joint capsule and the synovial fluid, the juice inside your joints, starting to break up and mix up and get a little bit again. Because you want it like thin. Like it's actually, I think it's the highest, like the most slippery substance that man has ever found is the synovial fluid in our joints. Like slippery. It's called viscosity, which basically is how slippery something is. But it has the highest viscosity level of anything.
That's wild.
But we do have to pump it, and it is fueled by water. That's why if your joints hurt, drinking more water actually helps because it refills your joints. Same with the discs in your spine. So moving helps break that up, and that's the most of the popping people hear. Yours is consistent, so I would guess it's more of a tendon kind of snapping, which is the other kind of popping you get, especially if you get it in your wrists. Sometimes these tendons, and a big part of it is these muscles that aren't working. These tendons are trying to multitask because they work on certain planes of motion, like the muscle in my finger pulls it straight down, straight down, straight down. But say the muscle that pulls it up doesn't work for whatever reason, all the other muscles are going to try to like compensate and do that job for the muscle. But they can't do the job because they're literally pulling at a different angle. And so then you get tendon snapping where tendons are like pulling in a different direction or the pull is all weird. And so that's where you can get that. The last type of popping is literal bone grinding on bone. And that happens when like, from what I can tell, I don't know how founded in science this is, but like when our joints don't move a lot, our bodies try to stabilize them, so they actually start growing bones over the joints to try to make them basically one solid bone. That's essentially what arthritis is the joints in your fingers, instead of being able to move around, they start to grow like these spiny protrusions that actually kind of like interlock with each other, so then you can't bend your finger and the body's like, oh good, it's stable. You don't have to worry about it. That was causing us pain, so I made it not cause us pain anymore. But like, yeah, but now I can't use my finger, so.
Well, that's great.
I need to do yoga.
Yeah, for real.
No, dude, seriously.
Stretch every ounce.
So health is wealth. Like, that's.
The more you talk about this, sounds like all chiropractors are like shamans. Like, kind of into it.
They're all over the
Holy
place.
water.
Yeah.
Chiropractors are funny. They're kind of like in this no man's land of health industry, where they're not recognized as full doctors, even though it is like they're a doctor of chiropractic. They are doctors, but they're not really like, they don't get the prestige that a lot of doctors get, and then they tend to skirt the lines of like Western medicine and holistic medicine, or like more out there forms of medicine. So like the medical industry doesn't know how to treat them. And so they've kind of become a pariah, where there's a lot of stuff like here's something that blew my mind when I learned it. So you guys know what dislocated shoulder is, right? Seen it in movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A chiropractor cannot legally put a dislocated shoulder back in its socket.
What?
Why? Because that's for a medical doctor.
That's stupid.
That is stupid.
I'm glad you guys think that. I think it's really dumb.
I'll just be like, turn the cameras off and do it for me. Real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. If that person's worth your livelihood,
Yeah.
I mean,
Because then they can sue you and take everything.
sue you, or even if someone else finds out you did that, they'll take away your license. Because it's like,
Wow.
it's like this like boys club almost, where like once you become a doctor, you have to do your best to keep bad doctors out of the field, because they'll just make you bad. I mean, like we've all heard stories about a chiropractor who made someone paralyzed.
Yeah.
Though that's the kind of doctors that other ones are trying to keep out, is because it's like we don't want them to be known as chiropractors. We want them to be the quacks. We want them to be the guys on the outskirts. So the chiropractors are a bit more like respected and trusted. So it makes sense in a kind of way, but also, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, that's just dumb that we can't do that.
Yeah. Best chiropractor I had, his name was it Jackie? He was like blind and shit.
No shit.
You'd
really.
go to his house, lay on a table. He was blind. He'd feel your body and crack shit into place. And just like, holy cow. That was awesome.
A blind chiropractor.
Dude, he was blind, straight up.
I would love to learn
Like,
from that
he would
dude.
feel around
That
his
would
house.
be
He's
crazy.
definitely dead now, but
Oh.
he was old, blind. He'd feel around his house to get to you. And then once he felt the body, he just got in tune with that shit and cracked you up. And you were great, dude. It was awesome.
Dude, that's so cool.
I'm pretty sure his name was Jackie. It was just wild.
Have you ever heard of Scranton?
Yeah.
Do you agree, like, with his methods, I guess?
I actually did Scranton for a while. His methods being like the whole show up 3 times a week for a while, then 2 times a week,
yeah, and
then
he
once
does,
a week.
like, uses the whole machines to, like, I don't know.
To do like the X-ray and those things.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know, like, the different types. Like, I've gone to, like, chiropractors where they just lay you on the table, crack you, but he seems to have, like, a different approach to it, and then he heavily hates, like, a bunch of other chiropractors. He's like, they're all doing it wrong. I'm the only right way.
Yeah,
You got to have a certain amount of ego in the doctor field, it
Dude,
seems
you
like.
do. It's crazy. Like the amount of ego I see in this is like, you could just eat some humble pie and we could get past this problem and find
Yeah.
a better solution, right? This isn't working. No, they need to apologize or something like that, and you're like,
You get the same thing in the pilot field.
no,
You
no,
get
I
some
believe it.
fatty egos in there. Whoa.
Anything that's for lack of a better term, a higher education, there's a huge kind of ego thing that comes along with it, a prestige thing that's like, oh, I have a doctor from Yale. I have 2 doctorates from Harvard. Like there's this like pissing contest always, and not that it's unfounded. There's some really intelligent people, but like, yeah, ego's a huge thing in the medical field and with doctors and all this stuff.
Do they need it?
Kind of. I mean, what do you like more? A chiropractor who's like, yep, I got this. I'm the best around. Or one that goes, let's see.
It might work.
I'm going to go this way, I hope.
Yeah.
And he's got like your head in his hands. You're like, yeah, dude. What was that waiver I signed again?
Let's rip it.
Yeah. So it does help. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people who just go into the doctor and like they're totally clueless, and so they're totally taking the first advice they can get, for good or bad. Because there are bad chiropractors out there, or at least like, I wouldn't say any bad ones, but like misinformed.
Yeah.
But so like, maybe think of it like a mechanic. Like, which mechanic's better, the one who works on Fords or the one who works on Toyotas, or the one who uses more hand machines or power machines? You know, like as long as they get the job done, it doesn't really matter. It's more the person using the tool than the actual tool.
Right.
That's kind of how a lot of chiropractors are. Like
Yeah.
that one thing you were talking about, like the thing they run up and down your spine. What's it? Spin. I don't know. I don't know the name. I won't even try to butcher it. But like, basically, what that does is it measures either the heat or the some sort of thing coming off your spine, and it can tell when an adjustment needs to be made on the spine.
Kind of like an inflamed area.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
A heat signature, kind of.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't know if it's quite heat, but I think it's either heat or like electrical impulse.
Gotcha.
But it's one of those, and they're like, oh, right here, and go. And it's kind of like they talk to the body that way. There's a lot of chiropractors who likes to do the X-ray thing, where they'll X-ray your whole spine so they can physically see, okay, here, 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 and here are the parts that are really subluxated, really twisted out of place. You have chiropractors like the one I use. We use a lot more muscle testing, a lot more getting to know someone's body. There's some that only do upper cervicals, like the first 2 bones in your neck, which are really important.
Dawson.
Doss?
Have you heard of Dr. Dawson?
Sounds familiar.
Okay, so he's the guy who goes in. He'll X-ray the upper part of your neck and your head and stuff, and then he'll have you lay on your side, and he'll do some weird shit where he touches the side of your face with his hand, and you'll hear pops like his hands are popping, but you can feel your spine adjusting as he's doing it. It's fucking crazy.
I've heard of that stuff. I've never
It's so
experienced
cool.
it firsthand.
That's the chiropractor I go to.
That's awesome.
Like when I'm out of place, I'm like, all right, because he'll weigh you on 2 scales, see how far off to one side you are,
Yeah.
and then adjust you from there and get you within like 0.3 of a pound. It's great.
That is really good. I've heard of that one before.
Yeah.
The measuring the gait, and that one does work really well.
It's not like a full body thing, but it does adjust your whole body. Like you're sore for a couple days after.
Well, and here's the cool thing Dr. Buhler's taught me is that the spine is a reactive organ. So like traditionally, the chiropractor would be thinking like wiring, right? Like in a computer wiring, right?
Right.
Like, oh, there's a problem up at the port of the computer, and it's causing problem downrange. But it could but like the spine being reactive is more like, and this is where stuff starts getting really like complex, I guess. But like this muscle cramped, or maybe you were punched in the arm, so you like that muscle hurts. Your spine will actually like move to shut down the nerve going to that spot, so you don't use it and damage it more. Like that type of reactive where it's like it's not spine then body. It can be either way. So like, we'll go back to glutes. So one of the glute divisions, its organ it's connected to is your pancreas. And your pancreas basically helps you break down sugars. That's a huge part of what it does. It does a lot, but that's one of the things that it helps. And what can happen is, say it's Christmas time, you eat a bunch of sugar, then you go out and play, pulled my ass. Because the muscle cramps up because that nutrient, for whatever reason, or that organ is strained. So the muscle cramps to tell you, hey, your pancreas is strained. Somebody left the manual a long time ago, though, so we don't know where all these go. But, like, your pancreas strained, so this muscle cramps, and then a vertebra might even move out of place. And so you go to a chiropractor, oh, this vertebrae is moved out, and then move it out of place, the muscle uncramps, and you stopped eating sugar, so your pancreas is like, oh, okay, we can calm down. So you can go at things the different ways because there's not just like a button fix for these things anymore. Or at least I don't think there ever was, but it's kind of like the cool stuff we see. Like,
Sounds
So-
like you kind of have to have the whole realm, like eating healthy, like making sure your muscles are energetically aligned, like
yeah.
it's just all everything.
Yeah, it is full. The way I learned about it, the way I like the most is the fitness triangle. So you have a triangle, right? And say the top is exercise, bottom right is going to be rest, bottom left is going to be diet. And the goal is to make your triangle as even as possible, because there's a lot of people who have just awful diets, but they do a bunch of working out and then they get a bunch of rest. And so their triangle is going to really look isosceles, but they're missing out on the diet aspect, or they're missing out on the rest aspect, or maybe you don't exercise and you get plenty of rest and plenty of diet, but like, man, I can't lose these pounds. Well, you need to exercise a little bit more. The body is like, it's, how can I put this? It adapts to the level of strain you put on it. That's the whole basis of exercising, right? So like, if I want to bench press 300 pounds, I need to trick my body into thinking that it needs to be able to bench press 300 pounds at any time. That's why you consistently work out. That's why you increase your max load, because the body adapts to the amount of load you're putting on it. If you try to bench press 300 and you can't, your body will go, yeah, no way, and then you'll just crush yourself. But if you start with something more manageable, like say your natural bench is 150 and you put 180 on there and you're struggling, your body's like, holy shit, this is heavy, dude. Like, I don't know why you're doing it. You're about to kill us. But it's not past that benchmark of just, no, I can't lift it. It's still in the realm of can lift it. The body will be like, okay, fine, we'll lift it. Cool. Now you've broken your chest because all these muscles that were ripping apart. So let's send a bunch of nutrients in there. Let's make the muscles bigger, put more muscle fibers in there, which is where diet and rest become so important for exercising. So you go, you get the right food, so you got all the right nutrients in your body. Then you take the rest, and that's where the body actually rebuilds the muscle. You cannot gym sun up, sun down every day to make yourself big. Your body needs time to rest to actually put mass on. You only put mass on when you're resting. And so then your body's freaking out like, dude, you're trying to make us lift 180. We don't have the muscle mass for that. And then you take a rest and nutrients like, okay, put more muscle mass here because this fool keeps on lifting 180 pounds. Then you go, and 180 pounds isn't so hard because you literally have more muscle fibers there to help pull it up. And that's the basis behind building muscle, is you're just tricking the body into thinking it needs to be bigger and stronger than it really does. Otherwise, your body's going to always go to the point of most energy efficiency. And it's like, that's where like a lot of atrophy happens, where if you don't use them, like if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the body will go into this way where it's sort of like eating muscle and getting like, oh, this muscle can lift 180 pounds, but he doesn't lift anything over 90 anymore. So let's start cutting back on this. Let's start using these nutrients in these body to get it out, because everything's energy expensive. And the body's always trying to make things as cost effective as possible.
That's cool.
Yeah, my triangle's pretty small.
As long as it's
all
even.
three. Well, you know what? It might be even, but it's pretty small.
It's a small
I don't do
triangle.
any of them, so I'm good.
No.
Well, but if you think about it, you're always doing all three. You're doing something. By the way, walking, one of the most underrated exercises out there. It's great. And it's one of the number one ways to fix low back pain.
Walking?
Walking.
Okay.
What?
That'll fix your butt.
It'll fix your butt.
Fix your butt. Yeah.
Fix your back.
Fix your butt. Fix your back. Well, it's cool. It's cool. Like walking is a great thing. And there's a study that they did on low back pain. And I can't quote it. I can't give any details to like what it is 'cause I don't know it. But like they x-rayed like 100 people or something like that. And like 25% of them, these numbers are way guesstimated, but 25% of them had low back pain. But when they looked at the x-rays, 50% of them had bulging discs. So bulging discs don't immediately mean back pain. It's if it bulges and pinches a nerve that it causes back pain. But then walking, actually moving those discs help pump them up, because especially if you're well hydrated, and then your body gets used to stacking the spine in a painless way, because your body doesn't want to be in pain. It's going to try and find painless ways. That's part of the reasons we compensate. Is the body's like, yeah, that's painful. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it a different way. Which is why form becomes a thing. Because if your form is putting yourself into where you're using muscles that the body is inhibited because it's worried they're going to break, it's going to be so hard to keep that form because that muscle doesn't work. That's where we come in and can turn that muscle on. Then you can go back into that form, no problem.
Wow. Sounds like we need some appointments, boys.
Yeah, for real.
I highly recommend it. Get it done.
Well, do you guys do like a full body scan, checkup, appointment, whatever?
Yeah, so like our initial appointment is you'll sign up for 2 appointments to begin with. The first is your new patient evaluation, and then your report of findings. So the new patient evaluation, they'll go in, they'll check a few things with your neurological system, make sure everything's okay, go over your history to make sure you don't have any like, oh yeah, by the way, I have my entire spine fused. Like,
Yeah.
That's stuff to know before you start adjusting.
Well, we don't want to
people.
crack it then.
Yeah. I'm not going to take this flying jump on it then. So yeah, there's a history. They check the neurological system to make sure it's all going. And then we do a muscle exam. So we're testing every muscle that we can, well, not every muscle that is on the body, but every muscle that's likely to cause problems. So this is some of the major lower back ones. So your neck muscles, your booty, your glutes, your legs, all of it. And it makes big difference because then you start to see it and it's like, and what's cool is we'll call people out. Like they come in, oh, my back hurts. Okay, well here your low back is not working, your glutes aren't working, so your hamstrings are trying to hold up your entire body weight. Mm-hmm. And look, and then we're like, oh, and yeah, this quad's not working. Oh yeah, that knee does hurt. And up here your shoulder's not hurting, so I imagine doing this would hurt. Oh yeah, that's exactly the motion that hurts. Because we know which muscles aren't working, so we know where the pain is likely to be. Because pain is just a message from the body being like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
So
how do you know, like, how much pressure or force to put if you're popping somebody or whatever without going overboard?
that's a good question because I don't know the answer. I kind of know the answer. There's a lot of it's knowing the anatomy and knowing like how far this has to move, and you have to feel it. There's a window of opportunity where you're moving a joint, but you're not like moving it past it, because like any joint adjustment you see could be dialed up to 11 and use it to break somebody. It's like, right, like if you pull back your finger and pop it, so it's a pop. It's fine because you opened up the space enough for it to pop. But if you kept on going, then it would break. So
Yeah.
that's every joint in the body. So it's kind of like you have to know the body, you have to know the tension. And that's a big part of what I'm hoping to learn in chiropractor school is like to learn which ones you can kind of really send it, which ones you not. Usually it's more force than you would think to pop somebody. Even somebody's like, no, my neck's really delicate. It's like, really? And I'm trying to delicate. I'm like, it's not doing it. Then I'll crank on it a bit. Oh, there it goes. Like, and then a part of it's the relaxation too. Someone who's more relaxed, like usually just moving him into the position will pop the joint or adjust the joint. But like, that happens to me. Like they'll move my neck into a play and I'll just feel my neck just pop right back to where it's supposed to go. I'm like, oh, cool. Doesn't even have to. But hearing a pop doesn't always mean that you've got what's needed. That's kind of why a lot of chiropractors like don't self-adjust, don't crack your own back, don't have somebody do the pick up and pull thing, because
Is that pretty bad for you?
no, it's not necessarily bad for you. It's the problem is that like say you have 3 vertebrae stacked on top of each other and the middle one is the issue, and you get somebody to do that and it pops the one below it and above it because those ones want to move because that first one is so stuck that even putting pressure on it starts moving the other ones. So they do it and it pops the above and below one. It makes it feel better because it moves everything into place, but that middle one is still really, really stuck.
Right.
And that's where a chiropractor excels in because he's like, this specific one right here is stuck this specific way. I'm going to move it specifically the way it needs to go. And that's why people like self-adjust self. And then what happens is that one above and below the vertebrae that's stuck, those will get what's called hypermobile, which basically means that they move too much. And that's when you get people who like they don't pop and the joints are now weak because the tendons, the ligaments between our joints, like you can stretch them, but they can get overstretched too, just like they can get overly tight. So self-adjusting isn't always the best thing to do unless you know like exactly here. You can clear out a whole area and make sure you get all of them back into place, or work it the other way around. Eat the right nutrients and do the right yoga stretch, and they're well hydrated. It'll pop itself back out. It'll move it right back into where it's supposed to be. Because your body's healthy. It tries to be healthy. It wants to be healthy. You just got to give it the right ingredients to be healthy.
Yeah.
That's all right, man.
Yeah,
Got a lot of work to do.
Youth is a double-edged sword. Because when you're young, you're like, oh, I can drink till 1 a.m, then go wake up, eat greasy food, and then go have a day and work out that night. And it's fine. And your body was okay because it's like just burning through these. It's fine. But just like any system, it starts to wear down over the years and just isn't as quick. And so people are like, oh, I'm getting so old. Well, your body's just basically like it's just doing what it's always done. It's just doing it slower. Like it's not that your body slowed down. It's that you didn't slow down. People keep living like they're 20 when they're in their 50s. So, but like it takes a different type of care and maintenance at a certain point. When you get to a certain point, you got to do exercises a little differently. You got to be more dialed in with what you're eating because your body tells you sooner. Because every time you do something that's quote unquote not bad for your body, there's a price to pay. Your body pays that price. And after a while, it's like, dude, I'm sick of paying this price. You're gonna eat the cost this time.
So kind of move it towards the financial area. You were saying you were kind of doing worse than last year or last time you came on.
Yeah.
Why is that?
College is a big part. Trying to get college. It's not only that it's cost money-wise, but it's like time-wise. Costs up a lot of my time and stuff like that. So I do spend more money on eating out than making my own food, which I know is the healthier, better alternative, but it's harder to justify that time.
With your college, do you get to do just straight chiropractic, or do you have to do all the other bullshit that comes
all
with it?
the other bullshit.
Wow, bummer.
Why do they do that? Why can't you just go learn one thing?
They want you to be cultured, well-rounded. That's why.
That's one theory. I have a few
That's what they
theories
tell
on
you
that.
in school. At least.
Yeah. I mean, there's that one that it's kind of nice for me getting back into school because I'm like, in a lot of ways, it's 13th and 14th grade, right? The next 2 years of school because you're basically learning the same stuff you did last time, but just at another higher level. But with some more accesses into more specific things you can learn, specific classes. But like another big part of it, this is my honest belief, is that they started making student loans super easy to get. Mm-hmm. So they got student loans got super easy to get. So colleges are like, hey, we can just pad out this like this little window of opportunity where we're basically reteaching kids, getting back to the grade, or someone's new to college, haven't gone to college for years, or school for years, or never gone to school. it gives them the education like, hey, we can just pad that out, and kids are going to pay it anyways. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other justification for it. That's what I believe.
That sounds way more realistic than they
Yeah.
want you to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that, but
I trust the second one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a smart business choice for them.
Right,
Brilliant.
that's why I trust it more.
It's guaranteed loans.
pretty much.
Like, it's great for the government, great for colleges, just sucky for the students.
And the people who have to pay the loans.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully it's the students, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Biden did the loan forgiveness, right?
He tried. They
He
didn't
tried, it didn't work.
They shut it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he promised all of it and then just,
It's the dumbest thing to me. It's like
who's
it's
going to pay that, Biden? Who's
yeah,
gonna pay that?
exactly. Well, there's already like, I haven't done this yet, and I need to. Part of the reason my finances aren't where they could be is getting onto like the loans and the grants and all these things that they offer for college students because they're out there. You just got to look for them.
Grants are great because that's like private money funding most of those, isn't it?
Exactly. It was just that's my understanding of them. Which, if you've done it, you've done schooling. Maybe I'll pick your brain about it.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of buddies who have student loans out and stuff for what they do. So,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
but yeah, those grants make a big deal. But it's another part-time job just finding them and getting them.
Yeah, it is.
So like I could do a lot better about that type of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you budget?
Do I budget? No. That's been one of my goals this year is to get a better budget. Just get it really dialed in. The way I see it, there's spenders and savers, right?
Yeah.
Some people are naturally spenders, some people are naturally savers, and they both have their pros and cons. Other than the obvious one, I've always been a saver, but that led me to be a point where like I never worried about having enough money. I would just buy what I wanted to and save everything else, and then I just didn't buy a lot of things. I did. Which, by the way, retail therapy is a real thing. It helps.
Oh, yeah.
What's retail therapy?
Is that revenge spend?
Spending your money.
It's kind of revenge spend. If you do it well, it's not revenge spending, but it's can be the same thing. A lot of people use it. But retail therapy is like you feel crappy. You've been saving all your money. I'm just feeling crappy. Like, okay, I'm going to go buy myself a new suit. Or like I'm going to buy myself something nice for me. It's like buying yourself a gift. The dark end of that is totally revenge spending, which I think is a lot
tired
more
of
common.
saving.
Boom! I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
I definitely think that's the more common way that we know of retail therapy is revenge spending. I forgot about that term.
Okay.
But yes, I've always been a natural saver. So now I'm like trying to like dial in my money because I don't have as much money coming in as I have in the past. And I'm like, oh snap, I never developed these skills to really budget my money like I need to because I always was in a surplus and had more money than I needed, especially because I saved as much as I could. Whereas someone who's a spender is going to be on the opposite end, right? They're going to like spend a bunch of money. Then the curse for them might being have a bunch of money. So if a spender got a job where they just got a bunch of money and a bunch of free time, that's how you get hoarders.
Yeah.
Or like they're just going to buy things left and right. Yeah.
I'm a spender.
Oh, yeah.
So I try to put myself in avenues like before I got married, I would spend, quote unquote, spend everything I could outside of like my necessities on investments so that I wouldn't have anything left to spend in my account.
I gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, get the money out as quick as before I spend it on useless shit.
My thing is sushi, dude. I love trying different new sushi
Sushi's
spots.
Sushi's good.
And it's so expensive.
Yes.
Sushi does get expensive. I don't even know. It's like sushi? Yeah, I meant how much it costs? I don't care.
Yeah, $100, sure.
$100 roll.
That better be some damn good sushi.
Yeah, it better have gold in it.
Dude, you know the best sushi I ever had was at Tsunamis, right?
They're so
Yeah,
good.
Tsunami's
Tsunamis
so-
good. But here's what made it better is like I was looking at it and I was like, I think I want some nigiri because nigiri is good. Nigiri, you guys know what it is?
It's the one without the rice, right? Or is
No,
sashimi's
sashimi's
the one
Without rice.
Okay.
Nigiri has rice, but they're essentially the same thing. It's just a cut of fish on a bed of rice, or just a cut of fish, which is sashimi. But I was like, I really want some good nigiri. So I'm like, hey, can I get some of that? He's like, yeah. He's like, you know what? Actually, our boss, his friend just came back from Alaska where he caught some salmon. And he's like, and that we're giving that out. I'm like, yes, please. Brings out this like little bed of rice with this huge piece of salmon on it that looked like butter. Like it looked like someone dribbled it out of like a bottle. The best sushi I've ever had. I was like, this stuff is good. Like the fish just tastes fresh. It was good.
That sounds so good.
Dang.
So I don't know when they do that. I don't know if it's a normal thing or it's like
Mhm.
I lucked out, but that was really good.
I like Sapa, Tsunami, and Mint.
Mint is
Those
good.
3 are way good.
Have you ever tried the jellyfish and mint? Dude,
No.
don't. It's awful.
Pretty bad.
It's so bad.
I don't think I would try jellyfish. Well, I mean, I'd try anything really, but like I haven't seen it on the menu.
Yeah, it's like an appetizer or something like that. But it was like, because it's not a roll. It's an appetizer and it just comes on like a plate. But it's like,
It's just the jellyfish. It's just
dude, it
yellow.
pretty much is. It's like the consistency of dry noodles and really wet boogers at the same time.
No fucking thank you.
I'd try it.
Sounds disgusting.
I've tried some pretty rank shit, so I might
That-
as well.
Taste wise, it was fine. Like it tasted almost good, but just the
Texture,
texture was
yeah.
so off. I was just like, this is just wrong.
Yeah, y'all know that scene in Willy Wonka where he's getting the crushed up bugs around his
Yeah.
finger. Yeah,
That was close to the consistency. Yeah.
That's
pretty rough texture for me to handle, no matter what it is.
Happy Sumo was good too.
Happy Sumo. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Happy Sumo is this little, well, at least the one I know of it's by the Mint that's up by off of 215.
Mhm.
It's similar to that area.
Okay, sick.
That's a pretty good one. Everybody keeps telling me that I haven't tried real sushi until I go have sushi on the coast. So
That's what I've heard too. You got to go to. It's from Japan, right?
Originally,
Sushi
yeah.
is from Japan. I want to go to Japan to try some real sushi.
Yeah.
my buddy spent some time in Japan. He said that's where he doesn't like the sushi here because like I've had it in Japan. He's from Hawaii and lived in San Francisco. So he's like, I don't want to have landlocked sushi.
Yeah, but it's
fair.
so good here still. I love it.
Me too.
How can it get better?
Fresher.
Possible.
Yeah, when I went to Seattle with Tammy, we had a bunch of different seafood places, and they got some pretty damn good oysters. Although Market Street Grill does oysters right.
I don't like
The raw
oysters.
Oh shit,
They're good.
they have a very similar consistency sometimes.
It's not so much the consistency of the oysters. I just really don't like. I don't like most shellfish.
Have you tried mussel shooters?
Fuck
Little
that.
quail egg.
Oh, dude.
Uh,
I have
So-
to eat them. They're
It's
so
bad,
good.
dude.
Yeah, it's cut up mussels, and then they put it in a spoon with a raw quail egg on top and fish eggs in some like sourish sauce.
Oh, I'd try it.
Oh my god, it's
so
so
bad.
good.
Tsunami, they have a broiled egg, so it's a cooked egg on it, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
fantastic. They're so
I'll have
good.
to try them.
I'm not a fan of the raw egg thing.
I'll do it.
It's not as bad as you think. 'Cause
See-
I had that same. They made me try my first mussel shooters, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's a raw egg. I'm not doing
Just
this.
try it, bro.
And it was really good.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
I watched
you're cool.
Jod shoot back 3 eggs. It was 2 or 3 eggs.
Ugh.
Like in
That's
a cup,
impressive.
Rocky
Why?
style. And I was just like, that looks awful. It's like, it's really not that bad once you throw it. I was like, it's really not that bad. It's hard to go down. Yeah. I was just like, dude, you're making it look
At
worse.
least put some salt and pepper in there, dog. That's
Like, so I don't have time for breakfast. I'm like, fuck, I'd make time or go hungry.
Yeah, I just wouldn't eat at that point.
Get McDonald's on the way.
Yeah, right. At one point is that he's better.
Their little hash brown things are pretty fucking good. I like
I love
them.
McDonald's
It's
breakfast.
dangerous,
I'm
yeah.
such a sucker for their breakfast.
Everything else sucks, but their breakfast is pretty
I
good.
take I-15 to work every day, and so it's just right there on the side on my way. I'm like, if I got an extra 10, 15 minutes, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
What do you do for your free time?
I've been snowboarding a lot.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I'm ripping it up there. It's so much fun.
Lucky.
Did you get the pass?
Oh yeah, I got the icon. We were at
Yeah.
Snowbird yesterday.
Sick.
That's crazy, dude. We got to the top because we rode the gondola up to Snowbird. Have you guys been up to Snowbird?
Yeah, yeah.
Not snowboarding, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they have that big gondola that goes all the way up, right? So we went up, and then you go down the side, and then you just drop it on the face. But like we were all snowblind. It was first thing in the morning. I could not see anything. Like it just looked like I was on a piece of paper, but it was definitely bumpy. Like, I don't know where it drops off. I don't know where it keeps going. It's crazy. We finally get to the bottom where there's some trees. I'm like, okay, I can finally see the ground. So we board a little bit, then we fight our way back up the mountain. Twice as bad. It's the same thing with total white out, but now it's stormy, so there's just snow and fog everywhere. And we're like, same fucking shit. Like, I cannot see anything.
Yeah, I heard the roads were fucking bad yesterday.
Oh, yeah, no, we, so, yeah, yesterday we went up to Snowbird in the morning, which we always do. Hit the list a bit, got some food, and then we're like, yeah, we're going to go in. One of our friends, her goggles weren't working, so we were up in the shit. She's just full face, just beating up her face. It sucked. But she made it. She was a trooper. And we got to, so we got to the bottom. We had some food just at the place. Usually we like to tailgate with like a fire and bring our own food. This time we're like,
Sounds nice.
it is so much fun, dude.
It's
I
a lot
love
of
it.
fun.
I keep a fire pit in the back of my truck for that reason. But then we're like, okay, let's go. Snow's starting to get bad, and we pull out of the parking lot and then just dead stop. Like, okay, we wait for like 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm gonna drive to the front and see what's going on, or see if I can sneak in or whatever. Drive to the front. The guy's like, dude, traffic's stuck. It's gonna be an hour. It's like, what? He's like, yeah, but we're not going anywhere for an hour. It's like, no way.
Time to tailgate.
So we pulled over and hotboxed my truck.
There you go.
No, but like, it was crazy. I don't usually do that canyon. I usually do Solitude or Brighton, which is the big cottonwood. But like, it was like, I'm like, it's completely shut down. Like, I've had traffic move at, 1 second, 1 foot an hour kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's not going anywhere, like, at all. It was weird, but we ended up just hanging out and driving down later. It was fine.
Nice.
Nice.
I heard there was like 5 wrecks or something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
People are dumb.
People are dumb. But it's been a good year for if you snowboard or ski.
Dude, record breaking.
Insane.
This was the first year in a
Awesome
while
stuff.
I didn't buy an Icon Pass.
Yep.
You done fucked up, boy.
I know a lot of people think the Icon Pass is ruining the mountains.
Why?
Oh.
It makes it so accessible for people, and I guess more people is bad. But part of it's like that it's more accessible for people. But
Could also be that we've had a lot more people move in. I was talking to an insurance guy the other day. He said there's been 250,000 cars added in the Salt Lake Valley, like
holy fuck.
That would make sense.
within the recent years.
Yeah, I
growing
think it's
very
more of
fast.
a person thing. Because, like, honestly, if you're going to get a pass, find the resort you like to and just get a pass to that resort. Like, because I have the Icon Pass, but I only get 5 days at Brighton. But Brighton does night skiing, so like the only place you can go if you want to board after work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I should have just got a Brighton pass because that covers Brighton and night skiing, and then like a pass to Solitude or Snowbird or anywhere else I want to go, and buy 2 season passes, and just bounce between those two instead. And then if I want to go somewhere else, buy it because like there's a bunch of places on the Icon Pass that I'm just like I'm not gonna make it out there. Like
Yeah.
there's one in Japan I can go to. Cool, I'll get there while I'm getting sushi, but like I'm not gonna just run to Japan.
Yeah.
Icon has like a spot in Japan.
Yeah. I don't know if
That's
it's
wild.
specifically Japan, but I'm pretty sure I see Japan,
Got spots
Colorado,
everywhere.
California, some places on the West Bench, some places in like Sweden, like
Wyoming.
yeah,
They have
these are
Jackson Hole. That
Yeah.
would be fucking
Uh-huh.
cool. Jackson Hole is awesome.
Jackson Hole. They have Mammoth Mountain too in California. That's a pretty big one. They have some cool resorts. It's just like I barely am trying to make it up enough to make it worth it.
Have you guys seen the indoor like ski and snowboard thing in Dubai?
I've heard about
It's
it.
insane. Like I saw it on Instagram. It's just like this mountain in a building with snow on it. Like, you guys are what in the fuck?
There's something I really like about Dubai, and I love the idea that they were like, we're gonna make this little piece of desert awesome. And so they're just shipping
They did.
everything they need in there. We need a mountain. Cool. Chop one off. Ship it over. I got the money. I don't care. Because they did that with like housing. Like they built islands.
Yeah.
They just started.
They have like a 0% corporate tax over there, don't they?
Yeah,
Some,
you don't
some
pay
cool
taxes.
shit like that where
That's awesome.
and they do a shit ton of money laundering through Dubai.
Oh,
And
I
so
believe
it's
it.
just wealthy as fuck. Everybody.
Dubai is actually a really cool place. I feel like, and it's super safe. Like
It's because I have the cameras everywhere. I heard if you speed, everything's connected to your credit card. So if you speed, the camera hooks it up, automatically charged.
That's what I heard too.
Doesn't
whoa.
matter.
Oh,
If you think about it, that's kind of the capitalist utopia, right? Like you can do whatever
yeah.
you want as long as you got the money in your account.
yeah.
Yeah, literally.
There you go.
Which everyone over there is pretty much rich anyway. So.
Yeah. One of my coworkers actually, she's from that area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kinda cool.
She grew up a bit in Dubai.
Is it kind of like not equal over there? Is that a thing, or is that
Equal in
Saudi
what
Arabia?
way?
Just like women can't.
Like you're talking about
drive
like
and shit.
Muslim. I think Dubai's pretty good about it. Some of those bigger, like more national places are good about it. Definitely, like there is that going on. Because I asked her that same question. She's like, that definitely goes on, but it's not like, they see Paris Hilton walking around, they're not going to go and like hang her or throw a cover on her or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe if you're gay though.
yeah, maybe if you're gay, they might. If they really don't like the
Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, I'd
Probably.
love to visit there someday. That would be dope.
Dubai would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty neat.
But yeah,
crazy.
so a lot of boarding.
Yeah.
School takes up a time, and then just life, dude.
So you're working on
Life.
school to get what, like an associate, so you can go to chiropractor school or something?
Yeah, whatever it takes to get to the chiropractor schools. I need to start figuring that out better.
Okay.
Like, I know some of the requirements they have, and if I could get a bachelor's degree, anybody will let me in, which is good because in some states you need a bachelor degree to practice chiropractic. So it might be
Any
worth
bachelor's degree?
pretty much. like my coworkers are talking like, yeah, we went to school with this person who majored in fluting, or this person who was a culinary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they specifically
Like a
mentioned
flute?
Yeah, flute. I guess the girl got flute scholarship and a flute major, and she decided to go to chiropractic school last minute and just, yeah, sure, come on in.
That's wild.
Yeah. Academia is so crazy.
Isn't
dude.
that stupid?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason why. But
Well, they might get kickbacks from whatever university, that they came from. I don't know.
I guess, but like, it comes to the same question, like, right, who's they?
Yeah.
And like, who's keeping track of all this?
Right.
Like,
I've heard a lot of it is if you can go get an associate's or bachelor's, master's, then they already know that you have a okay work ethic kind of thing. But it's like that should so not be the judge for good work ethic.
but it's a totally different world than the workforce, right? Because the workforce is very much that way. The workforce is very much what's the most efficient, what's the best, like what works. Like these are all the priorities. I don't care how many degrees you have. Are you going to show up every day and be the same and do good work? Cool, you're on the board. Academia does not operate under the real world. Where it's like, I have this degree which shows that I can pass so many classes. My GPA says that I'm this smart or this good at word vomit or whatever, and it's like, but schools, apparently their funding has something to do with how many people graduate from their programs versus how many people admitted to their programs. So you want to have a high both of them, but like you don't want to have too high of a graduation rate because then that shows that your program's not very hard.
Right.
So I think every like institution is trying to find this like medium place where it's hard enough to accomplish that not everybody can do it, but easy enough that the majority of people can do it, so that they can become like kind of that middle ground. I guess they get something for that. That's where the kickbacks come from.
Why are some schools like better, like Harvard or Yale? You always hear about those two, especially. Like, why is that so much better than the rest? Is it like better education? Like,
I'm not entirely
better
sure.
teachers? Like,
I bet the people that come from those schools. It's the people that you're in the classroom with.
Well, it's also the name associated with it because a lot of these bigger schools or more renowned schools have been around almost since the founding of the country, right?
Before that.
Yeah.
Or
Harvard
before.
was around before the Mayan Empire fell.
There you go.
whoa, what?
You didn't know this? Yeah, Harvard is
It was back in Europe, wasn't it? First, and then it came over
Europe or something like that, but yeah, like Harvard
or Oxford or any of these.
That's what it was. It was Oxford, not Harvard.
Oxford's
Oxford.
old as shit.
Oxford was around when the Mayan Empire fell, which is like,
I didn't know college was that old.
oh yeah, higher learning is huge. In fact, the founding fathers were huge on education. In fact, I think that's a lot of what
And it looked a lot different.
well, it did, but it's a lot harder too. Like,
Yeah.
who is it? Andrew Jackson? I think it was Jackson. He had to learn ancient languages to read the texts to learn the philosophies that they did.
Whoa.
And he had to self-teach because there's not like he could jump on Babbel or something like that and just learn it. He had to actually learn the bloody language so that he could read the text and understand what they were saying. A lot of them did this, and that's like,
Yeah, a lot of the founding fathers.
so they're
that.
big proponents of higher education because it is good because you want people that can think critically and that can come up with these things. I mean, that really is the goal, right? To like make it like our hands look like these so their hands can look like that. Because we do want people working more jobs that are more in line with what they want to do, with what their talents are and all these things. But you also need people who are like, I just want to show up, hammer nails, and go home. Like, and there's a lot of peace in, I think, both of those. But yeah, I used to say like, oh, hard work is better. But the more I get in the school system, I'm like, okay, I can see the appeal of both of them. I can
C's
see
get degrees, baby.
C's do get degrees. C stands for chiropractor. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that is a weird, like, I don't know. When you were talking about that, like, not everybody can be a millionaire because then you won't have, like,
If
people-
everybody's
yeah.
a millionaire, then milk will cost $100.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, like this is something I've learned about myself, and more so over the years, is that money's not a motivator for me. Like a lot of people, money's a huge motivator, but a lot of people, money isn't a motivator. And people think money's their motivator, but it's not. Like, say my motivation is snowboarding, getting out there and having a good time. Money's part of that. I'm going to want enough money that I can afford to snowboard and buy the gear I want and pay for my season pass. But I'm like, I don't need to keep spending the time to make more and more money. I need free time now, too. So, like, everybody has their own, like, motivators, and money's always a part of it, but it's more of what money gets us that's our motivator than money itself.
Yeah, I was going to say, why is money the motivator? It's to buy that free time.
Yeah, exactly. Money can't buy happiness, right? But it can buy what you ride on to
Buy
happiness.
me a boat.
I think you can buy happiness.
Buy me a truck to pull it. Well, why will it buy you happiness? It'll buy you happiness because when you have at a certain point, you get enough money, enough cash flow every month where you can do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly. Happiness.
But that's the key, though, right? Cash flow.
Right.
Because a lot of people think, like, if I had $1 million and they win the lottery, and then it all goes to shit.
Yeah.
And that's
Buy
the problem.
Butlers and shit.
Yeah.
You're white trash and you got a butler. Really, dude?
Yeah.
Those
Well-
are always so frustrating. You see them win the lottery and then they just blow it all. You're like, if I only had that money.
Or you see these trailer park homes with a Corvette in front of it. Some, things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
That's not. I
It's
used to have an
interesting.
issue with that, but now I don't. It's like you're fine with your home, but you want
Well,
a nice car.
Well, they're allowed to
You can
do
do
whatever
it.
the hell they want, and if that brings them happiness, great. But it is interesting when people will live in squalor to flash their
Right?
wealth
Okay,
that
I
they
guess.
don't have.
I would imagine it wouldn't be squalor. You got a cheap home.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Versus
that's
if you
potential.
take it as
Which right now a
which-
trailer park home can be $200,000 plus. It's like
Right.
fuck.
Can
okay.
it really?
oh yeah.
That's stupid expensive.
I look at homes all the time, and for a trailer park home for a decent one, you're $120,000
in a
holy crap.
shitty
Minimum.
neighborhood.
in a shitty neighborhood. If you get a nice one, you're $200 to $300.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you plan on staying in Utah?
For chiropractic school, I'm gonna leave, so I'll be
Okay.
gone for 3 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
But I'll come back. I love Utah, dude. It's my home.
Yeah.
Like, especially talking to people from all over the world. I've never had a travel bug. Maybe it's because I was gifted with some travels when I was younger, and I was like, okay, this is fun, but whatever. But like, I've never like people like, oh, I want to go there, and I'm like, meh. Like, I'll go there and I'll enjoy it while I'm there, but like, travel's not again, it's not a motivator for me, right? Like, I don't yearn to travel and explore the world.
You're not a
I feel
wanderlust.
that. I'm fine with staying here.
Yeah,
There's
I do like.
plenty of stuff.
I have been recently humbled to like the benefits of learning new things, like getting out there and doing something out of the norm. But yeah, like, I don't need to travel across the world to do that.
Right. No, I would travel. That's just not. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
not a motivator.
So you get it.
Yeah.
I'm so opposite. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I want to do when I get a bunch of money is just go all over the world.
Not
It'd
even.
be so fucking cool.
Bunch of money means settling down on a farm and not having to worry about shit. Just get
Depends
relax.
on where the world goes.
Why can't you have both?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Good, but that's not my part.
You,
What I
you
want.
got your home base, and then you go travel, see the world, whatever. Take your family.
I'd love multiple homes.
That would be cool.
Like, I want a house here, a house somewhere else, a house somewhere tropical, a house somewhere really cool.
Yeah.
Like, just places that I can go and rent out, and then they become moneymakers in and of their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a client who comes in. He actually, he talks about this. He has a place down in Puerto Vallarta where they actually film The Bachelor.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it's the Japanese Bachelor. He's like, yeah, they were filming Bachelor at my house. I was like, what the hell?
That's awesome.
It's kind of
That's way cool.
A lot of rich people do that though, where they'll have like winter and summer homes. Like they when it gets too snowy in the place that
Oh, yeah.
they live at, they'll just move to fucking Costa Rica and then
And
come
then
back.
when you're not there, Airbnb it out.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's one of the, it's like what you guys probably have realized is like wealth creates wealth, right? If you have money, you use it to make more money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why those lottery winners never last.
Use
Because
debt as money, as Robert Kiyosaki says.
use debt as money, yeah. But like the people who win the lotteries, they learn the money and they start spending it, but they don't have any of the foundation that you need. That's why it's important to like make your money and know how to use it, so that if you do get a big surplus, it doesn't all just go to waste. You can use every drop of it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Also, don't stop working. A lot of
Yeah.
them just kind of stop and just live off of it.
Oh yeah, no, you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I
at that
wouldn't- I
point, you
wouldn't
can
quit my
choose to
job.
work instead of have to work. It's great. Choosing to work is so much better.
It really is. I love my job. I'm so happy. Like, my job is one of my favorite parts of my day. Is showing up and doing the work. I freaking love it. It's crazy to have that too, where it's like, love what you do, never work a day in your life, but like to actually feel that, it's like, whoa, this is trippy. Like it's really cool. I mean, it's not everything's not perfect, but like the problems are just like, oh, this is a fun challenge.
Yeah, and then imagine how much better that'll be when you have the assets and the cash flow to where you literally could just walk away and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
And you still choose to come into work, and it's just like, it's all the better.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
the reason I love my work is because I love seeing people get better. I love watching people like get up and like, whoa, my pain's gone. Like that is the coolest feeling ever.
Yeah.
So
It's got to be rewarding as hell.
it is.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding. I mean, also deal with the same thing where it's like you work on them, get up. Nope, still there. I'm gonna beat you, but like they're not the problem. Like their body's freaking out for some reason.
My job's turning people into 2-year-olds.
You run a daycare.
You
A
really
night
do.
care.
Yeah, a night care.
Yeah.
Drop your husband off. We'll take care of him.
I'm so not social enough for your line of work, dude.
It gets exhausting.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just go home and you're like, I don't want to talk to a single person. Do not look at me. It's weird.
My job's like, correct their mistakes, and I'm like, now tell me how you would have killed us if I wouldn't have corrected that mistake.
Yes, you're like a bomb disarmer.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting.
Don't do that. Why? Because we'll die.
Yeah. All right, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't. And my controls. Now tell me why I said not to do that.
Because you're flying right now, right?
Yeah, I instruct. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. At
Yeah.
one of the schools, or
Yeah, it's ATP. It's up in Ogden.
that's awesome, man.
So I fly. That's the home base is Ogden Hinckley Airport in Riverdale, and yeah, that's my whole job. Is I teach students how to fly and how to fly better.
You go all the way up to Riverdale?
I do.
Holy hell!
Yeah. So like today I didn't work because the weather wasn't
No
conducive
flying.
to that. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Like, wow, the weather's shitty. Sweet, I don't have to work.
Yeah, it is nice that way, but also because this has been like a record winter, I haven't flown for shit. Like in past years when I was going through the schooling, I flew all the time in the winter. This winter has been pretty brutal that way.
Man.
So it's a give and take. I've been loving the amount of time I get to spend with my daughter.
Yeah, that's good. That's where
You
it's
know?
at.
I'm like, man, bad weather day. Okay, I guess I'll hang out with my
I was
daughter.
just thinking, I was like,
Whatever.
maybe I should have been a pilot because like bad weather day, cool. I'm going boarding.
Yeah, it's been essential that I have a working partner while I'm going through the schooling and instructing, because sometimes you may or may not make that much, right?
Yeah.
Or have a good nest egg to start, so you can support yourself through that, which we had both, so it worked out,
Yeah.
and it's working out.
having a partner like makes a big difference, especially if they're a partner, not like, you know, just another mouth to feed, or like I see it
Yeah.
honestly both directions. Like sometimes like the man will marry the woman and she's just like, hey, now take care of me and I don't have to do anything.
Which I fully plan on doing once I'm at the airlines, right?
Right. Or like, but I'll see it with the guys too, where the guy's like married, he's like, cool, I can stop giving a shit and just whatever.
Yeah.
And like they're not a partner in the life anymore because they're like they got their prize, right? They got their carrot at the end of the stick. They got the wife and the kids,
Yeah.
and so then they stop like showing up.
Stop trying.
Yeah, in a way they stop trying. I mean, they're still there for their family, I've noticed, but they're not really getting after it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it seems like, from what I can see, sometimes a woman ends up showing up and like she starts doing all the things, like thinking about budget. Like the guy's like making money because he's young and single and gets married, sweet, and he's still just making good money. Job keeps getting better. Then they start a family. He's like, cool. But then all of a sudden the finances start getting worn down because families are expensive. And he's like, oh, I've never budgeted. And they just like assume the wife will jump in and start budgeting. Or like the wife might assume that's the man's job to budget. So it's like having a partner, somebody you talk to, and like, you handle this, I'll handle this, and we can work on our life, not work on my life. I think it would be a big difference.
Yeah, we've been doing it where we'll take turns. So I was like working and keeping us going. This was right before we were getting married, but we've been together for long enough, right?
Right.
So she was going through art school. She wanted to do that. She was paying her own way, whatever. And we were kind of supporting each other that way. And then we swapped, and I went to flight school. And then we're just kind of making it work right now with whatever income we got, putting away as much as we can until we get to the airlines. And at that point, she should be able to quit her job comfortably, right?
No, I think that's cool. I think, like, I don't know, but I can say this. I say this on like never having done it, but like, it almost looks like the fun part is building the life together. Because I see a lot of couples who have the life and they're
Right.
just like they kind of at that point they're just dealing with the ramifications of what they did to build it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, we didn't invest a bunch of time in our kid, and now we're older and we're well established, but our kid is in prison. So
Yeah. So this is awkward.
yeah, or like, oh, now we're dealing with our health because we didn't worry about health the whole time. We were just like family and money, and then they get to the later, and they're like, well, now we're trying to get our health back. So it's like there's always a cost to pay, but I think as long as you're aware of the cost, it makes it different because like, okay, I know I'm spending health to work extra hours to do the money, but then later I'm going to make sure to get back into the health and make sure that I'm healthy again,
That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah,
which I think is awesome. I
my
mean,
health is taking a cost, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's. I think it's. The more I think about it, I'm like, it might be just impossible. Just do it all.
I don't think it's impossible.
I don't think
Well,
so.
Like
you
on
would
your
sacrifice. You would sacrifice a lot.
own. I feel like you
You know?
would. Like, and it depends on what your definition of all is, because you can have the job and the exercise and the body and all this stuff, but then your social life is just gone.
Yeah.
Or you have the social life, but then that means it's going to take a bunch of money because it costs money to have a social life.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have them all. It's just such a fine balance.
Or you can have the body, the money, and the relationship, and then your kid suffers.
Could be, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like. So I've been focusing mostly on job and family.
I think
That's
that's
it.
And both of those will pay off. Like both of those are really good investments of time.
Yeah, and then as soon as I can travel from there towards the airlines, then I can kind of cut back on that a little bit and start focusing on health and family, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just comes and goes in waves.
Pick your battles.
Yeah.
Pick your battles. That's so true.
There's only so much time in a day.
That's
And I waste a lot of it, of course, but
oh, for sure.
Instagram.
I deleted all my social media a
Did you
while
really?
back. And iFunny. Yeah, I have YouTube.
I like how iFunny is its own thing.
Oh, it is.
That's a
Absolutely.
time
No, I
sink.
got everything on there.
iFunny does. Like for a long time, I didn't join social media because I had iFunny, and I was like, I don't need it. If it's funny, I'll see it.
Yeah.
But then I realized I was spending just the same amount of time on iFunny that I would on a social media, and I'm like, well, this is dumb. I'm not even getting that social aspect. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
getting the jokes.
It's got everything from news to laughs to porn, whatever you want on there. And
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, I got to delete that.
It's that infinite scroll, right? Somebody called it that way. It's like that's such a bad thing to give humans.
But now I scroll through houses and cars, so it's like, eh.
But think
Better,
about
I
think about how
think.
cool that is, though.
Yeah.
You're looking at all these houses and looking at all these cars without moving. Like the amount of time and energy you're saving is huge.
Yeah. Oh, it's way cool.
Whereas I'm looking up like dumb cat videos or Dragon Ball Z videos, and I'm like, yeah, this is not a use of my time at all.
Yeah, it's fun, but and then I found myself watching more TV, you know.
Yeah.
But that also that aspect I get to do that a lot with my wife because she works from home a few days a week, so it's fun.
Yeah, that's something I'm kind of coming to peace with now. Is like, you can have your releases, your vices, your relaxation, your me time, whatever you need it to be, but just make sure that it's like not well earned but planned. Because like this is something I'll do, where I'll like work, work, school, just busy, and I'm like start getting fed up. It's almost like revenge spending. Where I'm like, fine, I'm gonna have an Xbox day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a revenge Xbox day. And the whole day, I'm stressed out for no reason. I'm like, this needs to get done. This needs to get done. No, I'm gonna play Xbox. And I'm like, it's almost like not even fun at that point because like I'm revenge spending my leisure time. And yeah, that doesn't work either. So it's like it's better to set some time away and like this will be my time to veg out. This is my Instagram time. Like I take these 20 minutes where I can just dumb out on Instagram. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as you have the discipline and the budget to actually do that, which I don't at the moment. But that's how you build it, right? You do a little bit at a time.
Yeah. That's smart.
Well,
Could be better.
You've got it. Like it's not so much a smart thing. It's like I think everybody will get there. It's just when you get there, right? Like
Well, if you want to get there, a lot of people don't care.
I guess I have a hard time fathoming that, honestly.
Yeah, I care a lot. Like
Right.
I agree with you. I'd love to like schedule the day. I feel like weird if I don't. You know what I mean? It's just like the whole day is like you don't have things planned out. Like you're saying, 20 minutes of Xbox. Like I've been trying to do things where it's like one episode of the show I like.
Yeah.
At each night or something like that. I obviously suck at it right now, but
Right, because you will like, it'd be so easy. Or Netflix
Yeah.
just goes, you want to watch this? 3, 2, 1, too late. Here it is.
and I get that revenge thing too because I'll like go out with my friends, and then when I get to the bars or wherever we're hanging out, I'm like, damn, I could be doing way better things right now than being here. And it's just not even fun anymore. You're just
Right.
going to be there.
Yeah, you're not even present. You don't even want, like, it's not that you don't want to be there, but you're also like, this isn't where I wanted to be tonight. And it almost feels like settled.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've noticed. I did that last weekend where I was just a little bit like, man, this is fun. I love it. But I'm like, this is just not what I need right now.
Yeah, it ain't it, Chief.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun talking about whole life policies and house numbers and everything at your house the other day. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
We sat down and just started whipping out our phones, talking about credit scores and everything. Nice. Everyone else sitting there like,
That's
this is awkward.
those are cool things. Like you guys have heard the saying, what is it? I can't even remember. I'm gonna like low minds talk about people, mid minds talk about things, high minds talk about ideas or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so it's like that to me. It's like you guys talking about investments is way better than just sitting there talking about freaking like what was it, Johnny Depp Amber Heard or something like that. You know, like I remember at work that would come up all the time, and I was like, holy shit, you guys actually care? Like it was shocking to me because someone's like, oh yeah, I'm way up to date, I love it. And I'm like, well, I could not care less. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and crazy thing is too, like you see a lot of people like talk shit about other people or talk about other people all the time. They
Yeah.
seem less intelligent when they're like constantly just like talking about other people's lives instead of like ideas, like or like yeah, like you were saying, ideas or things. I don't know.
No,
Maybe not less intelligent, but it's just like I'm not interested in this at all.
yeah, I
don't
feel like
care
that
what
person doesn't
Johnny
have anything going for him. You know,
Tell them that
Yeah.
or walk away.
What?
Serious.
Don't
that's
care.
bold.
It's like dead ass, guys. Just someone's talking about something you don't like,
Don't
cut
care.
it off, walk away. Like it's that easy. It's like I got something to do.
Uncle Case would do that. I'm sick of this conversation. Just walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said for
I
that.
find that so hard to do, but
It's a beautiful thing.
It probably is.
What's another fun game you can play is try to find their area of genius. So everybody has an area of genius. Everybody has something that they know just stupid well.
Uh-huh.
Try to find somebody's. It's fascinating because people are like, well, what do you know? Well, there's this. Like, well, what do you know about Pokemon? Ooh, well, I can name all of them. Like,
Yeah.
they just, that's the area of genius. And then it's like, holy crap. Like, you start learning things you never, like what's the old proverb? Like, everybody knows something you don't. And it's pretty interesting when you start talking to people and finding out what their world is like and what their expertise are like. Like, damn. Like, some people, it's like really, really dumb, but you're like, I can't believe you spent time on that.
I was talking to one of my students in the plane a little bit about like budgeting and stuff, and it just I could tell it was wah wah wah, you know.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned something about shoes, and he's a shoe collector, and that's like his investments and shit.
Oh,
Like,
sneakerheads
okay.
are huge,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So it's like, cool, bro. Well, how much you have invested in it? What do you do? What are your profit? You know, like, and he just
Goes
holy
off
shit.
on
All
it.
right.
Yeah, there's this guy. He's come into the clinic. I don't know if I've met him, but there's 2 pairs of these shoes that are in America. He owns one of them, and they're like $4,000 pairs of shoes.
Oh my god.
Dang.
Why though?
That's
It's
crazy.
No,
It's so crazy.
He put him in a box and put him at work because all the people he works with are huge sneakerheads too, and so like they're like, oh, those shoes are so awesome. You know, it's like showing up in a Lambo. It's just like the people who care are gonna be like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
People else are like, yeah, 4 wheels and an engine, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
the shoe game's big right now, though. I think it's gonna collapse.
I never get it. I'm going to Nike because I know they're comfy and trustworthy, and I go to the clearance section. What fits and looks good?
Yeah.
Like sweet.
I'm a bit of a shoe snob, but it's a different type of snob. Like I don't care about the style, the looks, who made it, who
No,
signed it.
it's
whatever.
gotta be good quality material, things like that. Same with belts, all of it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
I love the zero shoes, the low profile, the platform shoes, like the barefoot shoes.
oh no, the toes.
Oh, I love
Oh,
my toe
God.
shoes, dude. Love them.
I can
We
see
shouldn't
how-
even invite you.
Oh, dude, I love them. They help with my feet. They help my calves. Like they're awesome.
I could see how they'd be awesome because shoes are very constricting for a foot.
The wrong ones are
Yeah.
the really pointy toe box, and then like I like feeling the ground too. Like
Yeah.
a cool feeling that I've had is like I've been standing in a hallway and I've felt the ground shake and I look behind and someone's walking. Like
That's
I'll
cool.
I'll feel it before like I hear them or know that they're there. It's like I'll like feels like somebody's walking around. Oh holy shit, they're right behind me. Like,
Are they good for outdoors, like going on hikes and stuff, or?
yes and
Probably
no. It depends on the hike and depends on how rugged you're gonna get. Like I wouldn't take this if I was running over a boulder field.
Okay.
Especially if I had to like when I went to Kings Peak, I took some real boots so that I could like step on stuff and it wouldn't matter. But like a normal day hike, yeah, I'd wear these no problem. I just wouldn't want to be caught out in them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's not the cushion, so like if I find myself on like sharp rocks, one of them could go through it, and you do feel everything still. I still feel a lot of the ground, but that's what I like. Like sometimes feel blind when walking those big big boots, but then they have their benefits. I'm like I can walk in anything.
Yeah, over nails.
Yeah, like I don't care. That's something I did. You guys know what Kings Peak is?
Yeah, I have never hiked it, but it's on the list for sure.
Tallest mountain in Utah and the 6th tallest mountain in the United States, I think it was.
Oh.
It's
okay.
a tall ass mountain. It's like 13,000 feet is the elevation.
Where's it at in Utah? Is it right up over here?
No, though
Near?
it's up in the Uintas. You know where Duchesne is?
Yeah.
It's north of Duchesne. So like
Oh,
right in the
okay.
little cutout of Utah. It's like right below the bottom part of the cutout. So yeah, one of my friends, she's a big backpacker. She's like, yeah, let's go. I was like, I wanted to go. Me and my other friend were like, yeah, we never backpacked. We'll do it. Tallest peak in fucking Utah. So it was like, it was an 8-mile hike to our base camp.
Jesus Christ.
So we went there on Friday. 8-mile hiked in, camped. Next day we hiked up and down, up to the peak and down. That took all day. Then 8-mile hike back out. So it was a 3-day trip. It was intense. It was rough in it.
So
Sounds
Timp
rugged.
doesn't even compare.
No,
Not even close.
no. Maybe the backside of Timp, but I haven't done Timp enough. But like,
The backside's fun.
yeah, I've heard it's pretty awesome.
If you guys want to go or go in the spring, we're gonna go stay on top.
That sounds fun as
You guys
shit.
didn't do like the watch the sunrise thing, or
No, I don't know. I've never heard of that. I just go on the side with the Emerald Lake. There's a little like field you can camp in.
Oh, that's
I remember
awesome.
my dad took us up there, and we woke up in the morning, and there was a bunch of mountain goats by our tent.
Oh,
So
that's
cool.
sick.
That sounds way fun.
Yeah, I want to do Timp too. I want to do Timp, and I'd love to do Mount Olympus. That's the big one that's in the valley.
Mhm.
I've heard that's a pretty shitty hike though. So I'm like,
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
that was a pretty cool hike.
So, 5 years from now, where are you seeing yourself? And then 10 years.
5 and 10, huh?
Well, shit, we can even start with 1. 1 year, what's that look like? And then 5 and 10.
1 year, I'll probably be in a pretty similar situation. I just want to be better off, you know,
Mm-hmm. Better off financially?
financially, mentally / emotionally, like
Okay.
even relationship wise, just more set.
Yeah. And you're how old right now?
29.
29. Okay.
That's my dirty 30 this April, and dude,
That's prime age for a male, dude.
I know it is, but like when you hit 28, 29, 30, like it's this weird like mindset shift where you're like, oh, holy shit, I'm 30, I'm almost old. But like,
Yeah.
but you're at the same time, you're very aware that like, one, I don't feel old, and 30 really isn't that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's like a mental thing almost.
It's like crossing over to like, all right, I have to be an adult now.
Kinda. It really made me look back at the last 10 years and like, man, what did I do with my life over the last 10 years? Because especially when I hit 29. When I hit 29, I was like, okay, I remember what it was like at 19. I remember what I was doing at 19. And I look back and I'm like, where am I now? And I'm like, holy shit, that's not where I was expecting to go.
Yeah.
You know, like I was way different. But so it's an interesting kind of thing that happens. I think it's harder on some guys than others. It's been really hard on me. But I mean, this year in general has been hard on me. But
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about that at all?
I really don't.
That's fine.
Not that I don't have things to say about it, not that I don't want to talk about it, but you know.
Yep. Fair enough.
So
Fair.
in a year, I just want to be the same way. It's kind of the same situation, but more financially, more stable. Just like have things. I want to feel like I'm really starting to cook for this school thing because I want to get school done with as soon as I can. I want to get chiropractor school as I can. So
Yeah.
ideally, 5 years, I will have graduated from chiropractor, and it'd be cool if I could be 4th step in martial arts too. So the martial arts system, they have like different steps. 4th is right below the master level.
It's kind of like belts in karate or
Yeah,
something.
very similar. So I'm a 1st step now. I did that this last year, which is similar to a black belt. And then then 2 and 3 and 4 is like, I'm like, if I could graduate above 3, that'd be my dream. Then yeah, just 10 year. I want to be back in Utah, just killing it, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Heck
helping people, just making good money, have a family. That's what I want.
So a girlfriend and wife comes in somewhere in there.
Somewhere.
Heck yeah.
I'm literally seeing a therapist over that.
Yeah.
She's
It is a hard age. So being about 30, that is a hard age for a man to find a woman because a lot of them your age are going to be single moms.
See, I think that's bullshit.
Really?
I really I think if you're a woman at 30, it's really, really
Yeah,
tough.
I agree.
I think a man at 30 is like you were prime pickings for the young ones.
You're prime pickings, but to find someone,
No, like I'm prime picking because I'm an older guy I'm not well established, but I look well established. All the younger women
Right.
like older men. And I'm right at that
Yep.
age where all the young 20s, whatevers, are like, that's the guy that's perfect because I'm not too old to be
That's
too old,
true.
but I'm old enough to be established.
That's husband material.
Exactly. Whereas women are going to be a lot different. With a 30-year-old woman, like, yeah, has a lot harder time because maybe she does have a kid or already has a child or isn't, or like, there's usually a reason why they're not married at like 30.
Yeah.
Especially because women have like a biological clock to like have kids. So in some ways it's easy that way. All my issues are like mental. But yeah, so I really don't think it's that bad of a situation to be in. But it does suck because I'm like, see these like cute like 23, 24-year-olds, and I'm like, yeah, like, but you are like, they're in that party stage, right? They're like, some of them are dumb, and I'm like, I don't want to train a person. Like, I don't want to train a wife. I like to find someone who has those materials and cultivate, fine, but like, I don't want to like, I had to teach you how to do the laundry, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's people out there. They're just hard to find.
I think it'd be almost worth it too. Like, if you're of the temperament that like, I like my things done a very specific way, it'd be perfect. Gonna find her. I'm gonna tell her to teach her how to do it my way. Tell her it's the best way to do it, and then she does it my way, and all my stuff is done my way. I'm not that type, but if somebody's that type, I'm like, yeah, you'd be primed to go look for a younger wife you could essentially train.
Yeah, there you go.
But
How much money do you have the potential to make as a chiropractor? Like yearly.
Depends. Are you trying to be an employee or like make your own practice kind of
a
thing?
little bit of both. I would love to see this brand become worldwide. And that's kind of the goal, is to get it worldwide. Like I said, two of the chiropractors working for us, one was going to take it back to Hawaii, the other's going to take it to Dubai. So it's
So like a partner
like
almost.
franchise
That's what you
out,
wanna do,
yeah, like that. Like kind of the dream I have and the dream I hear some of them have is like, I want like an AMIT clinic for every dentist. You know, like there's dentists everywhere, but we want these clinics out there because this muscle work is amazing. It totally revolutionizes like weekend warriors, athletes. It's huge for athletes. And that's kind of where the money is in chiropractic. If you can get attached to a sports team or like something big deal. Like actually, here's what I'm cool with and topical. So Patrick Mahomes, right? He's going to this Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
QB for
He
Kansas
is.
City.
next weekend.
Yeah. It's the one football fan.
Yeah.
His personal chiropractor learned from Dr. Buhler. He does the work I do on him.
That's cool.
Same with Tom Brady's guy. He does a lot of the same work that Dr. Buhler does. And so, like, this stuff is huge. Actually, and I can name drop this too. My chiropractor, just this last weekend and for the last, like, year, he's been going to see Odell Beckham.
Huh, that's cool.
He's been treating Odell Beckham for, like, the last year or so. So, with the work we do. So, like,
Who's Odell Beckham? Sorry.
he
He
was,
plays for the Giants.
Oh,
Or
okay.
he did.
yeah, he's a
Is
free
that-
agent.
Is that football?
Yeah.
All right.
He was a big deal, like, really, really talented guy, but he snapped his ACL and then he started having issues, especially because they didn't fix it right.
Right.
And it wasn't until like the very end that he started calling in Dr. Buhler and like, okay, I need help from like, finally, I'm desperate enough to see one of those chiropractors, those crazy guys. Right? Like, this is like, we get a lot of that. It's like, well, I tried everything else, so I'll try you. And you're like, she would have tried us first.
Yeah, you're so busted.
Well, like, what's crazy is people will try putting a rod in their spine before they'll try us.
That's the fusion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, I get it because everybody's got a guy. Everybody says they have this thing that works.
Yeah.
Ours just is so well established that it works. I mean, there's always a situation where it doesn't work, and that's why we have other devices like the ED machine or whatever. Like we start carrying these other devices because for the little small percentage that doesn't work for, we have other options. But like I can make people 90% better with just the muscle work
Yeah.
because it helps with muscles and organs. And I think if you throw foot zoning in there, you get a recipe for some healthy people.
Foot zoning's pretty cool.
Foot zoning is.
I did forget to ask for the listeners and for us, how much does it cost to get those first 2 appointments through you
Oh
guys?
yeah. It was somewhere around $350, I think.
That's nothing.
I'll
Sweet.
take 2, please.
Yeah, that is the one complaint about my place is that it does get spendy.
You can't really put a price on health and feeling good.
No, you really can't, and like it's one of those things where it's like I was actually thinking this on the way here. It's a lot like your car, right? I'm like, because my car's in the shitter right now; it's not working. But like, I'm like, a car is like your body, where it's like, yeah, it's a pain in the ass to keep up the maintenance, make sure it runs good, but it's like, it's way better than the pain in the ass if it stops working.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing, is you're always kind of, all the work you're doing is against the shadow thing. Like an investment, the work you're doing, you will literally see dividends. You'll literally have money come back. You'll see your nest egg start growing, or whatever your investment is. But with health, it's like one of those things where the payoff is what doesn't happen.
Yeah,
It's not what does happen, it's what doesn't happen.
It's called preventative maintenance.
Exactly. And it's worth a pound of versus the cure, but like, it's just, it's a hard concept to really strive for, because you don't have a goal always aligned with it. You're like, I just don't want to be unhealthy, which is a shitty goal, because your focus is on the unhealthy part instead of like, I want to be this healthy, or I want to feel this good.
Also,
Like-
hear you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better.
Oh.
Like a lot of people that are overweight and then they lose weight, they didn't know that they felt shitty until
Dude,
they
so true.
lost weight.
It's kind of baffling how many people don't realize how suffering
Your
they are.
dad lost a shit ton of weight. How does, like, your mom lost a shit ton of weight too. Like,
Yeah.
how do they feel these days? Just rock
My dad
stars?
seems a lot better. I mean,
Yeah, that's
mom's
fair.
got other issues, so I
That's
don't know how
fair.
much that helps. But yeah, Dad, I think. But he has hip issues. His hip's been fucked forever. He's
Really?
needed a hip replacement for 20 years.
No shit.
Yeah, since he was like 20, they've told him he needs one, but they have to replace it every 15 years, and you can only get two. So
Yeah, hip replacement.
getting one at 20 is not
Sounds like
ideal.
he needs to see
I didn't-
Mr. Buhler.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help him too. Like, I've been wanting to get out there and start helping people.
Right,
I
you
just can't
know-
charge money for it.
Yeah.
Cause
Legally.
Yeah.
Legally, that's
Yeah.
right. Because like I can work for donations and I can do trade work, but like, yeah, I can't charge money for it because I don't have the license.
I understand those
Yeah,
stupid
Dad's
nuances.
hip's bad though. You know the thing Forrest Gump's had on his legs when he was little?
Yeah.
Before my dad had that when he was little.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
no gym class in middle school, nothing. Couldn't walk good.
He's flexible.
Oh yeah, palms on the floor.
What, bending over?
Mhm.
Also, super loose hamstrings.
Yeah, it's crazy because you'll never see him stretch and then just palms on the floor. You're like, what the heck?
And I have the opposite problem. I've almost never been able to touch my toes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Really?
Oh, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
it's our family. I'm pretty sure.
If I bend down, it's like a foot above the ground usually.
I can almost get my palms.
Damn.
Yeah, a big part of it is learning how to just bend over. Like, a lot of people
Well.
bend over at the back, and you have to pivot your hips and bend over at the hips.
Oh, okay.
And that's a huge difference in it. Like,
Yeah.
you'll try to get to your knees, barely get past your knees. Then if you like, stick your butt out and just bend at the hips, you'll get down to mid shin easy. Just because the biomechanics are there, it's like that's where your body's more designed to bend. Our spines aren't really designed to bend; they're designed to be adaptable. It's our waist that is designed to bend, mostly our hips.
How did you get into all this? It's like crazy.
Yeah, you just wake up one day, I want to be a chiropractor.
No, that was I'd never would have saw myself going back to school. Even when I was talking to you guys, you gonna go to school, be a chiropractor or something?
Yeah.
I'm like, hell no, I ain't gonna go to school, pay my money for that. It started with martial arts. That started me getting like healthy, like physically wise. I just wanted to be physically very, very well balanced and strong, like able to run whenever I needed to, but also able to lift a bunch of weight, but also able to touch my toes and like on a flexible strength, endurance. I wanted all of it. I didn't want just one of them, right? So I started working on my health and all that stuff. Started getting a little bit into the body stuff through like one of my girlfriends, and then when COVID came around, I'd already been like not disappointed, but like over A+ for a while there. Like it was supposed to be a temporary job, and I did it for 10 years.
Yeah.
So like it was like my whole life at that point, and I was like,
Physical labor will wreck your body too.
and that was a big part of it. Is like I almost hurt myself, and I was like, shit, if I hurt my hand, because I almost hurt my hand. So if I hurt my hand, I'm out of a job. Like
Yeah.
I kind of know some things, but like there's really only so much I can do without using my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh shit, I need to find a job or a career that I can use my mind to make money with.
Yeah.
Because that's really where it's at, is that if you can, once you can, don't have to trade your physical, like your sweat for money, or you can trade ideas for money or attention for money, that's the ideal place to be, right? Because time is money. Well, time is a conversion of money. You can spend time to get money, or you can do blood and sweat to get money, or just blood if you want to sell it, I guess. But like, or you can do like ideas, thoughts, perspectives, intelligence, past time, like those Some doctors spend hours upon hours reading books, memorizing, but now they can leverage that investment to make money later when they're called to be the expert. And someone's like, well, how much for your expert opinion? Oh, cool. It's $20,000 for a day. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. Like, that's super expensive. Yeah, that's because I spent 20,000 hours in a lunchroom studying books while my friends were out having, keggers. But they paid the price and they're getting it back. So I was like, okay, I want a job more in that line. So, and I always liked health, so I left A+, felt like a big deal, and then got my personal trainer certificate and just started going out there, actually looking for somebody who could teach me how to activate muscles. Because I was noticing in the gym that there were some positions that I was just like, my body just hates it in this position. But I know it should be able to get in that position because I understand the anatomy. So it's like something else is wrong here. And I just thought it was like torn muscles or hurt muscles or something like that. But it's some of my muscles had inhibited and just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, eventually I found myself here. I lucked out, I think, honestly. Like, the job I have it's not the greatest job, but what I get to do is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But once I become a chiropractor, then I can go start my own clinic. And, like, I might come back and take over the clinic I'm at now. I might come back and if we start a Park City clinic, I'll take over that, and I'll be over the whole clinic, and I'll have it set. So I'm still essentially trading time for money, but it's different, too.
It's an investment into your future.
Plus, like, the amount of good I could do for people is just overwhelming to me. It's so cool. Mm-hmm. And, right, that's one of the principles of prosperity, right? You provide value. You don't get money.
You listen to those, huh?
Oh, yeah. No, I've been looking to find them again because I haven't listened to them in a while, but they're hard to find.
You can't get them, really.
Nope.
Yeah, we had a flash drive with them.
You guys did?
We did. I don't know where it's at right now.
It should be on our Google Drive. We downloaded
No
one, right?
shit. I've been looking
might
for
be on
those
our
for a
Google
long
Drive.
time. We were actually, me and Rodney at a point were like, if we pay somebody, could we go up and ask Rick Kerber in prison to like, can we buy this off you?
That's what we did.
That's what we did.
You guys went
not to Rick Kerber, but we went through the channels that got to him and got him that way.
No, that's exactly what I want to do. So like,
Yeah.
and both of us were like, we'd prefer to pay for him because that's part of the principles.
We offered.
They didn't take it?
Nope.
Interesting.
Yep.
Did you have a price attached to it at all, or like strings?
No, strings were essentially we're giving this to you guys, right? This group, and it's essentially not your intellectual property.
Oh yeah.
So you guys are welcome to use it. It was like, okay, cool.
I mean, in my opinion, like, let everybody know that it's Kerber stuff, and let everybody know that, hey, no, he's still wrong. In my opinion, wrongfully imprisoned. Like he might have committed a real crime, or they might have committed a crime against him. But I'm like, no, that's being wealthy isn't a crime.
Well, I'll tell you this: whether he did good or bad, those principles are pretty damn good.
Totally agree.
You
I
know,
agree.
whether what he did was legal or not, it's like, yeah, the stuff he has to say is pretty good.
The principles are found, especially when you add them with like the laws of gold from the richest man in Babylon, and like start to throw these other laws with them, and they stack up. And that's what
Yeah.
I've noticed is one of the best indicators of truth is when it starts stacking up, when it works, like when it starts stacking up with other principles, and then when it can work on a microcosm and a macrocosm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like value creates wealth. That works on a microcosm and a macrocosm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a bunch of land. That creates wealth because people are going to pay me for that land. That's a macrocosm. The microcosm is like if I smile at the barista, or the other way around. If I smile when I'm a waiter, they're more likely to give me a tip.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if it's a genuine smile, like I'm genuinely happy to see it. Right? You can't fake service.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm like helping people with their bodies, help them get over these chronic things that hold them back. Because I do understand how much, like when your knee's not working, how much it limits you. And most of the time, these people don't understand because it's like there's a whole range of things that are just completely off the table for them. They don't even consider them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a skiing or snowboarding. They're like, oh, I would snowboard, but my hip hurts. And so I never really wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Versus, I would snowboard. I don't know if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have an excuse to go back to. Their body feels good. They could do it. And then it's like, then it's just the mental game.
Yeah.
But when you have the mental game with the physical game, it becomes so hard. Especially you have a mental game, a physical game, a financial game. If you're running all three of these, that's not one decision you're making. That's three decisions you're making to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a lot easier. So I'm like, if I can help people get healthy and feel good and fix these problems, like, that's to me is the best thing ever.
Yeah. we're working on the financial game for everybody.
Yeah, please do. Do you guys have any advice for budgeting? Because that's, like I said,
Yeah,
I'm seriously
so
struggling with
We
that.
actually use an app, or I do, and a lot of people I know here do. It's called YNAB. It's called You Need a Budget.
I actually know I downloaded it for a while.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me.
I
If it
didn't
doesn't
love
work
it
for you, that's
neither.
fine. Yeah, they've got all sorts of free budgeting apps out there, but the way that I tell people to use it is don't link your cards to your, don't link anything with your bank account. You keep track of it. And what you do is the first month you have the app, and you can do this with any budgeting app, just track every single cent that goes out of your pocket. Everything you spend on, just put it in the app. Doop, doop, doop. And then for the next month, you observe, okay, I spent this much in each of these categories. That's my budget.
Right.
So you're not limiting yourself necessarily, and then you can decide, oh, I can cut down on eating out. I can cut down, my personal cash. I spent like $500 this month. Just things like that, and then have that as your base standard budget. And from there, what you do is you have your checking, savings, whatever, and you build up enough savings so that each month you just transfer it down to your checking, or vice versa, however you want to do it, to where it covers your whole budget for that month. And you budget month by month, having reserves for the next month. And that is just your liquid capital that you use for budgeting. Outside of that, you can get rainy day funds, whatever, built up. But that's how I say to do it. And it's been the strategy that works the best for me.
Okay, yeah. Because that was always my concern, was like, I get this month's finances. Cool. This month's done. I put everything in. Next month, it's like, where are you going to put your money? I was like, I don't know. I was just keeping track of it. And so then I feel like I have to have all these plans and these avenues for my money and all this stuff. But I'm like, budget in and of itself is just watching where your money's going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm like, that's probably like the hard work I don't want to do, right?
Yes. And I can show you how I have mine set up after if you want. That's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
It'll
talk.
show you.
I'm happy to talk about it, yeah.
Yeah.
I could use all the advice, really. I'm like I got to find something that works, because the whole not budgeting thing doesn't work.
Are you always going to stick to your budget? No.
No.
In fact, most months you go over in a couple sections and you're like, oh, okay, maybe we get to budget more or less in some areas,
Yeah.
It-
I mean, that's the struggle I had as as a saver,
Yeah.
is that I never knew when I was in deficit or when I was making money.
That's one thing you do need to know.
Yeah, and that's really important,
Am
right?
I hemorrhaging or is stuff coming in?
Yeah, because
and
I wouldn't
staying?
know until like the next week, and I was like, is that number higher or smaller than what it was last month,
Yeah.
like last pay period? And yeah, that doesn't work either, because you're totally reactionary, right? I don't want a reactionary spend. I want to be able to divvy the money out and then know what I have left to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I can naturally save those or spend them depending on my personality.
Yeah, and then I know people who take it a step further and they'll actually make quarterly statements, like Excel spreadsheets of where their money's going, what assets they have. It's crazy. People get gnarly.
Yeah,
I like envelopes.
There you
I
go.
pull it all out in cash, and I'll divvy it up with envelopes.
that's pretty good.
Makes it very easy, and I don't have to worry about, like, the YNAB app. I tried for a little bit, but it just got too stressful because it's confusing for me.
I do think it helps if you have like your job is a lot of cash driven job.
Yeah, I do get a
So-
lot of cash.
It's already easy to do the cash thing, where your job is probably like direct deposit or something. So it's already digital, so it's easy to do it that way. So I think that makes a difference too. Which one's going to work for you?
Yeah, and when you have multiple streams of income, we got me
For
and my
sure.
wife.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
so
even
it's
think
easier
about
to
that.
have one budget where we can pull from whatever account, make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the money I get isn't cash. I just get a little bit of cash. Most of is on the check, but
Right.
I'll just pull it out of the bank,
Okay. Yeah.
all in cash. So, and I mean, obviously pay for what I need to. Like, I'll pay my bills first, and then I pull everything else.
I
that
see.
have
I
out,
got you,
know what
got
I mean? So,
It helps to have a tangible thing to see. too.
yeah, I'm a very physical person.
That makes sense. That's how I've been, and I'm like, I like it. It's more legwork, right? It's like I'm just doing more legwork. I'm carrying cash, which in and of itself in this day and age can be
Well, not smart.
you put a bit of a target on yourself, right? But I mean, like, honestly, I'd much rather someone come and try to steal my cash than people trying to steal my card.
Yeah.
Because people try to steal your card, they do it all sneaky, right? They take a picture
Yeah.
of your number, get it online, and I'm like, I don't know.
You think about it. If you were to get mugged, you're just like, okay, cards you can turn off, everything else you can shut down, whatever. Give me if you're taking my wallet, I need my license at least.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And pictures in your wallet, right? Outside of that, you can shut down everything and renew whatever.
Yeah,
It's not a huge deal.
That's a good point.
that is a good point.
Yeah, just like I at least need my license, dog.
I guess with car.
Other than that, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
When I have my money on my card, I don't like looking at it after I spend money.
Same.
So I'm like, swipe. I don't know how much I have, and I don't really care.
I spent
That's scary.
Yeah, it's so scary. I spent over $100 just on things to try to find out what's wrong with my car last week.
Yeah.
It's like, this adds up quick.
There you go.
So,
Yeah, I'd say the hardest part about the wine app is if I go over in one of the areas, then it's like it's hard to keep going and not saying, okay, I already failed.
oh yeah.
So it's
yeah.
the mental
Yeah.
aspect. But once I get past that, it's like, yeah, I save a fuckload. So it's good.
Okay. I just need to keep track of it honestly, because like
Just the second you swipe the card or whatever, you put it in your wine app. Or else it just piles up and
Or
then
whatever budget app, yeah.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
all right, cool.
Yeah. You guys feel pretty good?
Yeah.
Or you want to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I could tangent on forever. That's
That's
I could keep going, but I'm like, yeah.
It's fine.
Stick to the meat and
We've talked about
potatoes.
a lot. We had a couple things we wanted to talk about after, so that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting advice for the listeners? Anything you want to say or not say?
Good rest and water can solve a lot more problems than you think. Like when I did 75 hard, drinking a gallon of water was one of the harder things that I wasn't expecting. Drinking a gallon of water every day, but I was also amazed at how much better I felt drinking that water every day.
Did you actually complete the 75 hard? Sorry, I tried it, so I'm kind of
Technically, yes. I mean, like in my heart, I'm like, did I do it? I'm like, no, but like, cause I altered it, right? I didn't take the photo. I didn't even know until halfway in that I was supposed to do a diet of some kind either.
Yeah.
So, I like, in the ultimate sense, no, I did not do 75 hard. But I did work out 2 times a day, drank water, read 10 pages in a book for 75 days straight. Like,
What was your experience?
I hated it.
Really?
It was really hard at the beginning. Then it got to a point where it was fine, but it's like, it felt like I was constantly working out. And this is where I really found out how great of a workout walking is. But it felt like the gallon of water became easy. You just have to start first thing in the morning and get it all, and just start doing it, and you'll get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Exercising, as long as you can make sure to have time for your exercises, you got them, and don't miss out on the easy ones like walking. Seriously, it's underrated as a workout. But yeah, other than that, it's just kind of like by social life, I'm gonna go focus on this thing, and I can only imagine people with like families and more full-time jobs doing it, or more stressful jobs. Like it would be hard. So, but definitely good for a mindset shift, which is what I was needing when I did it. I was like, you're right. I just need something to focus on because I was having such a hard time caring about anything at that point. So
Yeah.
kind of like
Oh, go ahead.
it just filled my days.
Yeah. The working out twice a day thing is killer. We did that for a while, and we saw results fast.
Yeah.
It was ridiculously fast.
It's also nice going with your friends. Then you get your social aspect while you're doing it. You get to
It-
hang out every day with your friends.
Yeah.
It's
Makes
a
a
little
big
bit of free
difference.
time, yeah.
Well, and you're gonna have more fun too, which we can do. We can do hard things longer if we're having fun,
Yeah.
and we get better results out of it too.
True.
Yeah. I definitely lacked the sleep during 75 hard. Because I was like staying up late to get that walk in, waking up early to try to get my morning exercise in, and it turned into like where I was like, by the end of it, I was like, I am sleep deprived.
Yeah.
It's not because I like
feel
stayed
that.
up till 2 or stayed up all night. It was just like it's consistently getting 5 hours of sleep for 2 or 3 months was like, yeah, this does not work well for my body.
Yeah.
So
Cool. And as long as you're down for it, we'll have you on in another year, if not sooner.
yeah, if not
And
sooner. I mean,
just
like
do
I've
it.
got
Yeah.
a lot of topics I love to talk about, but
We might have to dive in deep with some of your chiropractic stuff because that would be a fun podcast. Talk about the different muscle groups and different exercises people can do. That would be awesome.
oh yeah, I could for sure do that. And there's a lot of So like me and Jod will talk about this. He's like, it's funny because we both like to work out. But he's like, you're entirely function. He's like, I'm way more form. or yeah, which that's what a lot of people are, right? Their form, so how you look, how I want the
Yeah.
big chest, I want the big shoulders, the six-pack abs. You know, these are all the things we want, but like when you look at it from a function standpoint, a lot of them don't make sense.
Mhm.
So like six packs just means you have low body fat,
Yeah.
which is cool if you don't live in Utah where it routinely gets to 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, but low body fat's not a good idea here. Nor is it even healthy to have that low body fat.
Well, I don't have that problem.
You got the dad bod, dude.
Oh, bad. Saw myself break 200 this year, and I was like,
You just broke 200?
it was this year at some point.
That's your first time breaking 200?
Yeah, I sit between 185 195 now.
Precious.
Yeah.
I broke 200 before I graduated. I think before I could drive.
If I was 130 pounds on the same height, then I could drive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
40 pounds less than I do.
That's about
now.
what I weighed
Same
when I could
height.
drive.
Yeah, but you got a big
Nice
frame.
little-
You could put muscle mass if you wanted to and be huge. Because you're tall, you got the wide shoulders. You got the frame for it. You just got
Oh, yeah.
shit ton.
You
Take
can be
roids.
220 and not obese, dude.
I know.
Like, I usually roll around 200. Easy. I've done it for years.
Nice. Man.
It's not too bad. And seriously, give walking and drinking more water a try. You'd be amazed at, like, the subtle changes, especially over time.
Yeah, I guarantee I'd lose 10 pounds if I stopped eating as much sugar.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's so
so
convenient, though.
at my new house, we have a candy drawer. So I've just been like
Uh,
absolutely annihilating sugar. And, well, first of all, I'm stuffy.
Yeah, I can
Because
hear it.
diet.
You broke 190 yet, bruv?
I don't know. I don't have the.
There's
But,
a scale.
no, either way, you were talking about pancreas and sugar the other day.
Yeah.
Or earlier. And I woke up dead of sleep from an ass cramp. And so does it have to do with that?
It took me a second to, like, what? Yeah, that was probably exactly it.
Yeah, like shot out of bed because it hurt so bad. I was like, okay, what the
So
fuck?
when I said that, you're sitting there like, this is voodoo.
Yeah,
You know, that might have been exactly what caused it. Trippy,
that
right?
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I could go on and on about the muscle stuff. It's some pretty cool stuff.
yeah.
It'd be fun to have you on a podcast and just come and, like, diagnose us all. With, you know, it would be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could. If we took some time beforehand, I can kind of
Yeah.
look at the bodies and show you results.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
It'd be fun to do if we ever get a camera. Show some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
cool.
be sweet,
Yeah,
too.
that's fair. Well, cool. Appreciate you coming on again.
Yes,
Listeners,
thank you.
Appreciate
thank you. This will come out next week sometime.
Tuesday.
Sweet.
Next Tuesday.
Hi, future Eli.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys all next time. And Eli, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, for
Peace
sure.
out.
Happy to
Appreciate
see
it.
that.
See you later.